and how the occult are linked in with Saturn. Okay, so first of all, let's start with the celebrities. All these celebrities are doing 666. Okay, covering the one eye, which also symbolizes the all-seeing eye, which is another occult symbol. But we're focusing on the 666, the 6 with the 3 fingers. Also, we have CERN with the 666 within their logo. Also Disney, okay, as you can see here, 666 within their logo. Pepsi, Coca-Cola, and even Cadbury's. Monster Energy with the 666 in Hebrew numerals. Unleash the beast. So what is 666 to do with Saturn? Because on Saturn, there is on their north pole of Saturn, there is a 6-sided hexagon. Okay, so Saturday is named after Saturn Day, the 6th planet. It is also the 6th day of the week and has a 6-sided polygon on its north pole, 666. Not only that, when you create a star out of the hexagon, you will create a 6-pointed star. Okay, with 6 triangles within the star and a 6-sided hexagon, which all adds up to 666. Okay, so this is why all these symbols contain 666. So why do they worship 666? Saturn. Because Saturn is the god of time and death, okay, and order and lessons. Okay, Saturn is a very cold and dry being. That is the 6th planet from the sun. Okay, Saturn represents the winter, which symbolizes death. Okay, because all nature dies within winter because the sun's not there. So it represents darkness and death. It rules the zodiac sign of Capricorn. Okay, so in the celestial cycle, Saturn is always opposite the sun. So it's the opposite of the sun. So they're worshipping this energy which is death-like. Okay, this god which is death and does not bring life. Okay, also is the god of time. Okay, also in the Roman and in Greek it's called Chronos. Okay, which is just a translation for time. It's also known as the Father Time, aka the Grim Reaper. Okay, the Grim Reaper. Keep that in mind. We'll come back to this. Here are some more logos with Saturn. Okay, NAG, Internet, Wi-Fi. Okay, all these occult logos all worship Saturn. They are a satanic occult. They worship this death god, this evil god. Okay, this is where the cube now comes in. Okay, because what colour is associated with Saturn? In black, because it's the absence of light. It's opposite the sun. So black is the colour associated with Saturn. Each planet has its own colour associated with it. Okay, so when you make the cube, okay, as you can see here, the cube out of the polygon, it creates what? A black cube. Okay, and the Kabbalah, okay, Kabbalah means cube, Allah means the god, the cube god. These religions are secretly worshipping this cube god, the god of death, Saturn, Satan. It's the same entity behind it all. Okay, so also we have these black cubes in Australia, Denmark, all around the world, these black cubes, because this occult is worldwide. Saturn, Satan taking over this realm. Okay, also with this black cube, they walk around it like the rings of Saturn. Around the black cube of Saturn with the rings, they walk around in circles. What are circles? Cycles. What is a cycle? Time. The time god. This is why it has a ring around it, because it represents time, cycles. Okay, and this is another depiction of Saturn, always depicted with this Reaper staff. Okay, keep in mind this staff, just like we associated him, aka the Grim Reaper. The Grim Reaper also wears a black robe, representing Saturn with the same staff. Can you see it? This is where it comes in. Okay? The same thing, look, the same staff with the black robe. Black representing Saturn, the god of death. Okay, the Grim Reaper, Satan. Okay. Also, when you graduate from university, what do? You wear a cube on your head, a black cube with a black robe. This is Saturn worship. See, this is how Satan has tricked the world into worshipping him, not God, the sun, which represents God. So what is a corona? Because a corona is a crown, a circle, okay? A set of concentric circles of light seen around a luminous body. So Saturn. So this is why they used to worship Saturn by wearing crowns in ancient days, and we still do to this day. The king or queen has a crown, a corona. Also, corona, the drink. Corona adds up to 666, just like Saturn is 666. But like you see in the corona, you see the staff. You see this staff, just like the staff of Saturn, the Saturn god, like the Grim Reaper, with the black robe and the staff, just like the Saturn god. What is the Grim Reaper? It's a killer. It represents death, just like Saturn, the god of death and time. So all these occults and secret societies all worship the 666 god, which is Saturn, Satan. All of our energy is being put into Saturn. Okay, and Saturn, Satan, is harnessing all of this energy. So gradually, this is what the mark of the beast is. Like it says in the Bible, the mark of the beast, or the name of the beast. Here is wisdom. Let him know that he hath understand and count the number of the beast, for it is 6. It is the number 6 of a man, and is 666, 666. So this is what the mark of the beast is. They are going to eventually put green chips, just like Neuralink, which is what Elon Musk is pushing. Okay, so this chip is the mark of the beast, and it's going to be implanted to our hands or brains. Okay, and they will manipulate our consciousness, and it will manipulate our DNA, and it will directly connect us to AI, and AI is linked in with Saturn, Satan, as the demons and the people who rule this world are in love with AI. They want to connect humans to AI, and this will control our consciousness completely and give all of our energy back to Saturn, Satan, this deity that they worship. Just like when you get married, you wear a wedding ring, the rings of Saturn, over the finger, which represents the sun. So you're basically seeing Saturn over the sun. The sun is the son of God. It represents the sun, represents God. So you're putting Saturn over the sun. So thank you guys all for tuning in. I'm going to leave you guys here. Please leave a like, comment some topics that you want me to talk about, and please subscribe for more amazing content. God bless.
What is good, people? It's Revival of Wisdom. Today we're going to be talking about Saturn. I've done this video in the past, however, this video is going to contain a lot more in-depth explanation of Saturn. So the 33rd degree Mason Manly P. Hall said, Saturn is the key to crystallization, physical matter. Light is matter, matter is light. They are interchangeable. Low vibrating light turns into matter, high vibrating matter turns into light. And Saturn is the god of this world, this physical world. He crystallizes light into matter. This symbolizes the Masonic checkerboard, matter and spirit, matter and light, light and matter. He's also the god of time, destruction, justice. He creates and destroys, because all things in time die. He creates and destroys you. So, because we live in this physical world, which is the electric world, this is why we say electricity, because it comes from the root word of El, Saturn. They used to call Saturn El, E-L. This is why we used to say Elohim is God. The real God of this world is Saturn, but it's being hid. This is being hid. Jesus is Saturn. All of this is Saturn. It's all Saturn worship. It's the real God of this world, So, physical matter is a result of two opposing forces equalized on the plane of inertia, because everything is created out of electromagnetic toroidal fields. And these two poles equalize on the plane of inertia, which gives you planet Earth, plane of inertia. The plane of inertia is what Saturn is. It's the ring around the center of the plane of inertia. Thank you to Walter Russell saying, physical matter is a result of two opposing forces on the plane of inertia. This is what Walter Russell says, so please check out his work. He's got many books, many books on light and electromagnetism and stuff like that, so I advise you to check him out. So the torus field gives you the binary code 0 and 1, the female vagina and the male phallus. This is the code for this world. Saturn crystallizes physical matter. Now Saturn is the most outermost layer of the 7 layers of heaven, where it says in the Quran, it says, Allah, it is He who created the 7 layers of heaven. Saturn is the outermost layer. He's the top. He's the most high. So when we say the most high, we're referring to Saturn. He's the most high before the firmament, before the stars. So Saturn is the god of this world. He's the Lord of the Rings. He wears the crown. The crown is the rings. Crown, Kronos. So the planets are luminaries, they are lights, they are beings, they are energy, conscious energy. And we're in the heart of the solar system. Saturn is the outermost layer. He is the one of this world. He's the god of this world. Now, on the North Pole of Saturn, you have the hexagon. Add up all the sides, it creates the 6-pointed star. Or it can be created as a cube. The cube is very important. The 6-pointed star is very important. 6 points, 6 triangles, 6 side, 6, 6, 6. Black cube adds up to 6 in gematria. Now, what did I say in the beginning? Saturn crystallizes the physical world. He creates physical things out of light. You are a light being. This is why we say human. Hue means the light spectrum. Hue, man, we are light manifested into physical forms. Human. And we are incarnated through Saturn. Satan, same thing. The number of the beast is 666, and the 666 comes from the 6.6 triangles, 6 sides of Saturn, 666. We are all known as carbon-based life forms. Carbon, the atomic structure of carbon, is 666, 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons. We are materialized into our physical bodies through Saturn, through the number of the beast. These bodies are the beast, it's the animal. The divine, the Christ, is the consciousness within, because you are a physical, spiritual being combined into one, hexed into one, hexagram. This is a hexagram. You're hexed into physical matter, spirit and matter, light and dark, combined into one. Now you contain of the mark of the beast, the mark of your body's the beast. It says in the Bible, Satan, who is the god of this world. This world. There are many different worlds, but this world is run by Saturn, and it says that in the Bible. Saturn is Satan. It's the same thing. And look at the crown of thorns are wrapped around the heart. The soul is in the heart. The mind is in the brain. The soul is wrapped around the rings of Saturn. You're wrapped in physical matter. This is what it's showing you. This is symbolizing the rings of Saturn wrapping you. And the cross on top is the cross of the cube. The cube, the black cube of Saturn, unfolds into a cross. So Satan, who is the god of this world, Corinthians 4:4 in the Bible, Satan, who is the god of this world, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe. Saturn blinds your mind because the god of this world materializes you, and he blinds your mind when you incarnate into physical matter. When you enter this soul system, not the solar system, you hit Saturn first. He materializes you. And look at the symbol for Saturn. This is the symbol for Saturn. All of the planet symbols are created out of the Holy Trinity. The Earth, Moon, and Sun. Body, mind, and soul. The Sun is your soul, the Moon is your mind, the Earth is your body. Your body's made out of the 5 elements. The Sun is your soul because the Sun is life force. Gives life to everything. Your Sun is a soul. Your soul is the sun of your body. The Moon is the mind. The Moon is the moon of your body, the mind of your body. Intelligence. So all of the symbols of the planets are created out of these. The Saturn symbol is created out of the Earth cross, matter, and the Moon crescent, moon, mind, matter over mind. This is why Satan, who is the god of this world, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe. He blinds your mind. Look at the symbol, it's showing you. The Saturn symbol is matter over mind when it should be mind over matter. So we descend into a soul system, into our 666 Saturn carbon suit bodies, and we are matter over mind. Then we have to move up the spine to go back up to spirit, to mind over matter, where you manipulate your own reality. Now look at this, it creates the number 5. 5 is the number of change. You're moving from this side of the number sequence over to the right side. You're moving from the spiritual into the physical world. You're incarnating into the 5 elements, the 5 senses. So the cube, the black cube of Saturn, is another major symbol. Very important symbol. Here you see the cube, and the color black is associated with Saturn because Saturn is associated with death. He creates and destroys. Light and dark. Death is associated with black, spirit, because you can't see spirit, which is blackness. So the black cube is black because Saturn rules the nighttime, which is dark, blackness. And he rules the winter, which is death, blackness. So Saturn is the black cube. Cubes have 6 sides. Up, down, right, left, back, and forward. Cubes are 6-sided. Everything is 6-sided inside of this creation. Because you're incarnating, you're materializing, crystallizing into the cube. The world of the cube. Everything's a cube. Everything's got 6 sides. Here's Leonardo da Vinci showing you that. You're in the cube. Leonardo da Vinci did this famous painting. You're in the cube, you're hexed into physical matter. Or you're incarnated into the 3rd dimension, the 3-dimensional world, which is a cube, 3D. And black cube adds up to 6 sides of the black cube. the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah means cube god in Arabic. And look at what they do. They worship the cube, the black cube, and they stand in rings like the rings of Saturn. Australia, Denmark, Manhattan, Santana all have these black cubes. You go to New York, you will see the black cube there as well. These black cubes are everywhere because it is the real God of this world. So look at the cross. The cross unfolds into the cube. Xbox, Nintendo GameCube, Sega Saturn, anything to do with a simulated gaming reality, they put Saturn in it because we're in the simulation of Saturn. This is a simulation. And this is why they reflect this through the Xbox, GameCube, Sega Saturn, anything to do with gaming, simulations, is all Saturn. Because we're in the cube of Saturn, the black cube. We're in the GameCube, the Xbox, the Sega Saturn. As above, so below. So they reflect it through the simulations that they create inside of this simulation. Cubes have 8 points for the 8 points of time and space. 8 is the number of time. Everything's cycling, infinity. So, look at the cube. The cube is symbolized as in Judaism. The Judees have the black cube. They wrap themselves in a black band and they cover their eyes into blackness. The black cube for the black cube of Saturn. They use the star of Saturn, and they worship their god on Saturn Day because it's all Saturn worship. Look how the Saturn god is wrapped around with these thorns or leaves, just like Jesus is wrapped around his heart. And Jesus on the cross is us on the cross. We are in the cross. We are in the cube. The cross is the cube. And the cross is even in the Saturn symbol. This is another symbol for Saturn. There's two symbols. You got this one, the one I've just broke down. And there's this one. This is the cross of Saturn, the cube god, the simulation, the GameCube. Now, Chronos is another word for Saturn. Chronos means time. When you clock into work, you go to the Chronos machine. Well, I did anyway. And I tap my card on the Chronos, because Chronos is time. Anything to do with time is Saturn. He creates and destroys. Look at the artwork of Saturn with the sand, the time. Look at this, how he's cutting off the baby's wings. He's crystallizing the spirit into matter. He's cutting off your wings. Satan, in the Bible, he falls from heaven into earth and he loses his wings. He becomes a serpent. See, that's all symbolic for us. We are the fallen angels, fallen angles of light. We're fallen angles of light. We are light beings. Now we're fallen into physical matter. Saturn's chopped off our wings. He's chopped off our spirit wings, because when you astral project, you can fly. You will fly around. He's got the Reaper staff here, always depicted with the Reaper staff. Now look at the clock. Saturn Day is the 6th day, the number of the beast 666. Look at the clock. 6 take away 12. 12 take away 6 equals 6. 7 take away 1 equals 6. 8 take away 2 equals 6. 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, 2 plus 4 equals 6. That's 666. Everything's 666 because it's time. Saturn. All goes to Saturn. He's the god of time. We're in time now. We're in time. We're in the time, which is God. The god of this world. The god of time. Now look at this. The Reaper is also depicted as the Reaper. With the staff. The black cloak. Black symbolizing death. Spirit. Judges wear black because Saturn is the law. He's the god of this world. He's the law. This is why they wear black cloaks. When you graduate from university, you wear a black cloak and a black cube on your head. you've been hexed. Funerals, you wear black because it's all to do with Saturn, Father Time, Father Crystallization. Now Saturn, here's another one of him cutting off the wings of a child. Because he cuts off the wings, he creates and destroys your body. We're in the electrical world. Everything that is electrical vibrates. All vibrations have to come back to a standstill point, which is death. This is why your body dies. Your atoms stop vibrating. Herona. Look at the crown. The crown is the corona. Corona means crown. And look at this is an alcohol brand for beer. You can see the staff of Saturn in the symbol with the moon crescent. Corona, which is the crown, Saturn, the crown on Saturn, the rings. And then you've got the staff. It's all Saturn worship. Is the black cubes of 9/11. 2 black cubes. This was a ritual for Saturn. It's all ritualistic. And look at the Star of David, the Star of Saturn. It's not the Star of David. It creates IXXI, the sigil of Saturn. IXXI means 9/11 in Roman numerals. 9/11. It's all a ritual for Saturn, and they have the 2 black cubes of Saturn. Now look, XX, there's more symbolism of Saturn now. We're going deeper. XX is more symbolism for Saturn. The sigil of Saturn is XX, as above, so below. Same with the Star of David. You split it in the middle, as above, so below, as above, so below. XX, this is a Knights Templar Cross of Lorraine. XX, Knights Templar, High Order of Masonry. They all worship Saturn. Well, Saturn's the real god of this world. X Eon with the XX, XXL magazines, which is all to do with famous rappers and stuff like that. When you die, you put XX on the eyes because it's Saturn. He's the Reaper. Is Jesus with the XX crown with the thorns around his heart, around his soul, with the cube on the top, the cross cube. Lil Uzi Vert with the XX Cross of Lorraine. Jay-Z with his alcohol brand, XX Cross of Lorraine. The X Factor with the rings of Saturn. All Saturn worship. The seal of Melchizedek is also Saturn. This is the cube. This symbolizes the cube with the 8 points for the 8 points of space and time. And this is the cube. It's another ancient symbol for Saturn. Here you see the Star of Saturn with the Melchizedek symbol around it, which is all to do with Saturn. Here you see an altar, the Holy Grail, the Melchizedek symbol on it, and they're worshipping it. This is why we wear rings, wedding rings for the rings of Saturn. It all goes back to Saturn. Earrings. The 8-pointed star of the ancient Sumerians is all Saturn. It's all Saturn. So, the ancients, the symbols of Saturn goes on forever. It's in all of the major corporations. You can see it everywhere, the rings of Saturn. Toyota is an obvious one. Internet, Nike, Target, Sega Saturn. It's all Saturn worship. All Saturn worship, because he is the real god of this world. Is Kanye West's album with a Saturn here. Is Michael Jackson's album saying X escape. There's the X again. The X escape. You have to escape this reality. Maybe that's what he's pointing at. Here you see it on the dollar bill. The Star of Saturn. Here you see it again on the dollar bill. So that is it for today's people. I hope you all gained some insight on Saturn. Please like, comment, share if you can. Subscribe if you like the channel. Please have an amazing day. God bless. Welcome back, people, to another occult lecture by Revival of Wisdom. Today we're going to be talking about magic and how it's being used on us for the New World Order. Magic has the word mag within it, which is magnetism. Magnetism is the force. Magic is influencing forces, natural or supernatural forces, and using it for a certain agenda to gain something out of it. Now, magic is not what everyone's being thought. It's not some sort of fantasy thing. It's actually very common, and we all do it, whether you believe it or not. Magic is all to do with the mind. As I said, always say in my lectures, your mind is what creates matter. Your mind is what creates your external world. So it's all about manipulating and planting seeds within the mind, because your mind is a garden, and thoughts and words are seeds which are being planted in that garden. Your life, your physical life, the people you have in your life, your friends, your car you own, the job you have, is all a reflection of the thoughts that you've been thinking in the past. You are where you are in life because of the thoughts that you've been thinking. Therefore, your life is a direct reflection and manifestation of your mind. The Garden of Eden. Okay? The mind is what they are targeting. What you see, say, and hear has a direct effect on your mind. Me talking to you is influencing you. The words I'm saying is planting seeds within your mind. Now it's up to you to consciously act on these thoughts or these words, or to maintain these words. As above, so below. As within, so without. What's inside of me is outside of me. What comes into the storehouse comes out of the storehouse. You have the left, you have the right, you have the up and you have the down. As above, so below. Whatever is in your mind will be expressed in some sort of way, consciously or subconsciously, spiritually or physically. The mind is what manifests everything. And this is what we need to understand. We need to understand is that the mind is not physical. All things spiritual manifest physical. All things seen come from the unseen. The words you're thinking, everything you have is coming from the unseen. The actions that you do come from the unseen mind. Another expression for as above, so below is you are the universe itself. You are a universe, a mini universe. But just because you are mini does not mean you are the whole thing. If I take a little piece of infinite, let's say there's an infinite light source. Let's say I take a little chunk of that infinite light source. That little chunk I took is still infinite, because it's been taken from infinite. You are the universe. Your awareness, your mind is the universe. It's information. You are the universe experiencing itself. This is why we say we are all God. As above, so below. What is in me is outside of me. The sun, the physical manifestation of the sun, is your soul. The 12 constellations are manifested in the physical body. The 5 elements are manifested in the physical body. They're manifested in the 5 fingers you have. As above, so below. This is manifested, well, this is a symbolized in Freemasonry and secret societies as the 2 pillars. The mirroring reflection, the reflection of reality, the mirror. As above, so below. What happens in the mind, what happens in the astral, happens in the physical. This is Aleister Crowley. This is all symbolism. This is the 2 pillars with the all-seeing eye and the triangle at the top. Aleister Crowley was a master magician, very powerful dark magician, black magician. There's 2 types of magic. You have white and black, just like the checkered board. The Masonic checkerboard, you have white and black, you have good and evil. White magic is influencing natural forces to gain something that will help the collective consciousness, help the collective, help the earth, help other people. Black magic is something, you manipulate something so you can get something personal out of it. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It's still considered as black magic because you're being selfish. Everything you do should be contributing towards the collective consciousness and helping others. And this is why the ancients lived in a system where everything was in unity. We understood that I am you and you are me. What I do to you happens to me because I am you and you are me. We are the same mind substance on the inside. We're all the same mind substance being expressed in different bodies. So what I do to your mind will have a ripple effect on my mind because all of our minds are connected within the mental plane. So this is why they know all this knowledge. They know all this knowledge. So yeah, this is the mirroring effect of reality, the 2 pillars, or symbolizes the number 11. The number 11. We'll go deeper into that. The technology we're using is magic. It's a form of magic. Television is tell-a-vision. They're telling a vision into your subconscious mind, into your memory. And when you turn on the tele-vision, you get a program because they're telling a vision to create a program within your subconscious mind. You see, the conscious mind is only 10% of your mind, which is to do with your, what you're aware of, your 5 senses. What are you consciously aware of? Well, I'm aware I'm here, I'm talking. I'm aware of what I'm wearing, the 5 senses, what I can hear, taste, smell, hear. What I'm wearing, I'm aware of what I think of. But the subconscious mind is the 90% of your mind. It's the hidden part of the mind, which is telling your heart to beat, telling your body to breathe. It's storing all of your emotions. It's storing everything you see, storing all the belief systems that you have. It has everything. It stores all of the habits you have, the values. It stores everyone's name that you know. All the words that I'm speaking right now is all coming out of the subconscious. Everything is subconscious. And it literally manipulates 90% of your daily basis behavior. Most people don't know this. What you did yesterday is what you will do today because of these beliefs and mental programs within the subconscious, stored within the subconscious. So the subconscious is what they're aiming at. They're trying to create programs within the subconscious because the subconscious manifests 90% of your thought patterns, 90% of your actions and words. They know all this stuff. So the subconscious mind is the most powerful part of the mind. Another way the subconscious manifests and influences your life is, let's say you were in a car crash years and years ago, 10 years ago. Let's say you're in this car crash, right? And you really hurt yourself. the emotion you felt in that time when you were injured in that car crash had a great impression on your subconscious mind. You see, the stronger you feel something emotionally, the stronger impact it has on the subconscious. You can remember and recall that moment, and very vividly, because of the impact it had on the subconscious. For example, you become that terrified of cars that it manifests into your life today, that you are wary to go in certain cars. You don't want to go in cars at all, maybe, because of that moment that stored within the subconscious. And it will manifest into anxiety. It will manifest into not going into cars. It will manifest into depression, maybe. These things, these emotional, very emotional, traumatic events have a great impression on our subconscious, and they control your life. This is why you need to meditate and let go deep within yourself and let go of these internal, deep emotions that you may have repressed and keep pressing down and ignoring. But you need to address it and let go of these subconscious impressions you have, which are controlling your life, like anxiety, depression. All of these things are stemming from things that are stored within your subconscious years and years ago, more than likely. Broadcasting. They're casting spells to a broad audience, to news, north, east, west, and south. They're casting spells. No, if you watch the news, everything's red. Breaking news in red writing or the red background, everything's red. Why? Because red's the root chakra, which is all to do with survival. They want to stimulate this root chakra because they want you down there in survival mode. They want you in survival mode because you're easier to control. They control out of fear. And not only they're casting these spells as if, because most of the things they cast in the news hasn't already happened. They're constantly bombarding you with, there might be a war breaking out, war this, war that, kill here, kill there, murders. It's impressing, it's casting spells on your subconscious mind. So when the event does turn up in real reality, in physical reality, you're less emotional, you're less surprised. You're not as surprised because you've already heard it before. Your subconscious has already heard it all before. If you never heard of a war and then a war broke out, you'd be going crazy. So they subtly program your subconscious mind through the words, because the words they say is impressing your mind. It has an effect on your mind, which will have an effect on your behavior, your words, your conversations you have with people. They're casting spells to north, east, west, and south on the tell a vision. They're telling a vision by broadcasting, by saying spells. This is why we call it spelling. Even the words we say cast spells. Bless. Oh, bless you. That's be less. The subconscious mind only picks up literal things. You see, when I say bless you, your conscious mind picks that up as, oh, thank you, you're blessing me. But your subconscious picks up as be less. You see? Because the subconscious it has no filter. It's just, it is what it is. Everything is factual in the subconscious. Therefore, if I call you an idiot, your subconscious, my subconscious will think I'm talking to myself and calling myself an idiot, and it will take that as true. That is truth. Everything is truth within the subconscious. And the subconscious manifests your behavior. The devices this is the biggest one. Black scrying mirrors, device, the devil's vice, the device. Okay? Black scrying mirrors, black screen is scrying. Black scrying mirrors were used to communicate with spirits within the astral plane in the medieval times. They're still being used now by black obsidian mirrors. And look at your phone, it's a black mirror. And there's some sort of, I'm not saying this is facts, but personally I believe these are portals for spirits and ethereal entities to come into your life, to come into your surroundings. So this is the next big thing: the TVs, your iPhone, your iPod, all black mirrors. And mirrors are very, very powerful. Even just a normal mirror. Mirrors have an effect. Whatever you say into a mirror, what you say is energy. And when you say something into a mirror, you're saying it into yourself. It's an infinite cycle of words of energy, because it's being reflected infinite times. When you say something into a mirror, it has a massive effect. You're saying it directly into your eyes, into your mind. So what you say in a mirror should be said with precaution. Never say anything negative into a mirror, because mirrors are very, very powerful ways for you to reprogram your subconscious mind for the good. You can say very positive things into mirrors and it will reprogram your subconscious mind. Okay? Manifesting is all magic. It's all magic. Everything is magic. But consciously doing it is what they're doing. They hid this knowledge. Your phone is magic. It manipulates your mind. The iPhone. Okay? See, magic isn't all of this with wands. See, Harry Potter, okay, that was created to give you this perception of a mystical and amazing form of magic with magic wands and all sorts of stuff like that. Yes, that stuff was true when the collective conscious minds were on a higher level and our belief systems believed in these things, because the universal mind, all of our minds contribute to reality. If the masses don't believe in magic, if the masses don't believe in a certain thing, it's going to have an effect on physical reality. So when the collective minds are higher and have more open minds, things like Harry Potter can come true. See, it's all in the mind. The iPhone, the eye is the symbol for the mind, the invisible intelligence. The triangle is the ethereal plane. Okay? So the eye in the triangle is the eye that sees into beyond the ethereal planes. The square is the physical plane. So the iPhone, your phone, is a black box, just like the Saturn black cube. It's a black mirror. It's taking photos of you every 2 seconds. And it's your mind. Your mind is in that phone. Everything you like, everything you text, everything you type in Google, everything you say to someone, every conversation is all recorded on the phone. Therefore, it is a direct reflection of your mind. Your mind is imprinted into your phone, because your mind, everything you think in your mind, you're manifesting into typing, saying, taking pictures into the phone, and it's collecting it and storing it. And what they're doing, and this is for all forms of magic, it's manipulating the mind. It's all manipulating the mind. Reels, Instagram, TikTok, this is all dopamine. It's all controlling the mind. Every like you get, every follow you get, every share that you get is dopamine within your brain. They're literally targeting your brain and mind. It's all manipulating, because what they're pushing through the phones, through the media, through the news, through the televisions, is visions and programs. You are the one manifesting the New World Order. They're not manifesting the New World Order. They're giving you the information so you can manifest the New World Order. Everything they say is contributing to your mind. For example, digital money and all the information they put out for you to see is contributing to your enslavement. Your mind is manifesting the New World Order. They know this. They don't manifest it. There's billions of us. We could easily run over them physically. But on a mental level, these people have the knowledge and they hide it from us, and they let us manifest reality because we are the collective. They give us the information which manifests their agenda. It's all magic through the phones, the media, the television. So your phone is a manifestation of your mind. It's a record of your mind. Hollywood, holly tree, holy tree. They used to make wands out of holy trees, because it was the most holiest wood, the best for casting and transmitting energy. So they used holly trees to cast spells. That's what Hollywood is. And in Hollywood, they have the red tear, the blood drop, next to the Hollywood sign, because it's all satanic. They're all black magicians. They use Hollywood to cast the spells through the music, through the films. You see, music is a form of magic. All of this is magic. Everything they do is a form of magic, because they want an agenda behind it. But it's not black magic. They're letting us create our prison. This is what you have to see. Yes, they're evil, but they're not doing anything evil, or else they would face the karma. They let us manifest this agenda through giving in the information, by telling you what's going to happen in the movies. Everything that happens in a movie, it's all there on purpose to program your subconscious, to plant a seed within your garden, your subconscious, your mind. Because when the mind has already seen something, when it comes up and turns up in physical reality, you will be less shocked and you won't rebel. So they lure you slowly. They make you aware of these things over time. They make you gradually think it's okay. Like the technology, we never used to use these phones. How did we become so addicted and reliant on them? Well, because first they gave you a little flick phone. Well, no, sorry, they gave you a phone in your house, and then once you got used to that, they say, "Oh, here's the newest version of a little flick phone." You started texting your friends. Everyone was loving it in high school. They could now meet up without saying, "Let's meet on the weekend at this point at this time," like your parents probably did. Or maybe some of you watching this, you probably had to tell your friend to meet on the weekend at a certain time because you had no way of communicating. So everyone got these phones and got addicted to them. Then they slowly got addicted to the new iPod with the touch screen. Now they invented touch screen. Then everyone got addicted to touch screens. Then because all of this is producing dopamine in the brain, which creates you to become mentally addicted to things, and physically addicted, chemically addicted, because dopamine's a chemical. Your subconscious becomes a program within your subconscious, and your body becomes chemically addicted to these phones. And these phones are the enslavement of humanity, technology. Without this, we wouldn't be in this mess, without technology. Because they're creating a hive mind. We're creating a hive mind. So back on track anyways, they They program you. Look at the films, 9/11, 9/11, all produced by Hollywood. Here's the 11, like I said at the beginning, the two pillars which reflect reality. What happens in the mind happens in the physical. What happens in the astral happens in the physical. Okay, what happens in the physical happens in the mind. It's the two pillars, the mirrors. 9/11. 9 plus 1 plus 1 is 11. Flight 11 was hijacked. New York is the 11th state. New York adds up to 111. This is not a coincidence. It's all a form of magic. It's a ritual, energy harvesting ritual, because your mind produces energy. Your mental attention produces energy, and they're feeding off this energy in the astral plane, these demons. Music is the most powerful. Personally, I think the music is one of the most powerful forms of magic they're using. Okay? Music is hypnosis. It puts your brain in a hypnotic state. It influences your electromagnetic field through vibrational energy. It reprograms your subconscious mind. Why do you think you remember the lyrics? You see, your subconscious stores all of the memories. Remember, the subconscious manifests 90% of your behavior. So therefore, the music you're listening to is manifesting your behavior. You wondered why some people wonder why they have drug addictions and they can't get out of violence and they can't get out of all this negative mind space. It's because the music they're listening to is creating a negative mind space. The words you listen to have plant seeds within your mind. So the reason you remember the lyrics is because that song created a program within your subconscious. Yes, that is what happens. You can use magic to reprogram your mind, but you can use music to reprogram your mind, because it's all forms of magic. It's using natural mental energy forces to manipulate the physical reality. You manipulate your mind, you manipulate reality, physical reality. Okay? So the music, another very, very big one. When you turn on the radio, it's just all talks about alcohol, drugs, and sex, because they want you down in the lower three chakras. They want your mind attached to matter when it's mind over matter. Your mind's not physical. You see, the word spirituality is the new trend. It's not about your spirit. It's not about your spirit. It's about your mind. It's not about, spirituality and looking after your spirit, and they've got you focused on your spirit. Why? Because they hide your mind from you. You see, a lot of people think their mind is their brain, but the mind is everything. There is no physical reality without mind. You can have a brain. Imagine if you had no mind but a brain. It wouldn't work. The mind is everything. The mind controls your avatar. It begins in the mind before it happens in the brain. Then the brain manifests through the body. The brain's just an electrical computer. So that, they've got people scared, or do I have a soul or not, and all this stuff. Listen, if you have a mind, you have a soul, because you are not the mind. This is why everything is sort of an illusion, because beyond the mind is your soul. But what is the soul without a mind? You can't have a soul without the mind. But if the mind didn't exist, the soul doesn't exist. You are the person listening to your mind. I shouldn't say person, because you're not the body. You're the entity behind the mind. But if you didn't have that mind, you couldn't understand what you even were. You would just be an observer who couldn't think. So yes, we all have a soul. If you have a mind, you have a soul. Everything is mind. Everything has mind. Mind creates everything. God is mind. and they're manipulating your mind through TV, your phone, every little thing. The school, it's all about the mind, people. Control your mind, you control your reality. Just the last thing, here you go. Aleister Crowley, the Dark Magician, Kanye West doing the exact same thing because they're implementing magic in the music. Here's the Beatles with Aleister Crowley in the background. Bet you never noticed that. Aleister Crowley was influencing music and placing magic within the music to influence the subconscious. This is what Baal worship was. This is why they killed children. They sacrificed these children. Why? Well, because in order to ascend, in order to raise your consciousness internally, godly, by being good, God, or being in order to be good and raise your consciousness and to get something in the physical world, you have to sacrifice yourself. And what do I mean by that? In order to raise your consciousness and ascend, you have to sacrifice the lower nature of yourself. You know, you've got to abstain from having sex to retain your sexual energy, to transmute it. Or staying away from negative, poisonous foods like meat. So, staying away from blood. We shouldn't be consuming other animals' blood. We should be keeping our blood pure. We are humans. We shouldn't consume chicken blood, chicken germs. We are the most divine creatures on this creation. We are the most intellectual creatures in this creation. Therefore, we should keep our temples pure. We are not animals. If you want to associate yourself with an animal, go out in the wild, go and find a wild boar, and go and try rip its guts out with your bare teeth, because you can't do it. You're not a carnivore. Okay? So in order to ascend, you have to kill and sacrifice your lower part of yourself to ascend up to your spirit self, your mind self, the highest version. And the elites don't want to do this. So they sacrifice other things like babies to kill them, to exchange their life over to the astral plane, so these demigods in the astral plane can give them something in return in the physical. They don't want to sacrifice their lower self, so they sacrifice other things for exchange, for physical pleasure. But the godly person sacrifices their lower self for their higher self to do good and ascend. So this is what all the Baal worship is, people, and this is why they're doing it. Hope you all had an amazing lecture. If you haven't already, go and get the Book of Wisdom for more information. You know, I don't go into dark stuff in this book, because all I do is enlighten people in this book. You can get it in Spanish, English, German, Italian, and French. Worldwide shipping. You can get the PDF or paperback. Or there is also a new one called the Human Health Guide 2.0. It gives you a list of all the foods, grains, oils, nuts, you know, everything that's alkaline and positive for the body and not man-made and hybrid. It tells you all the products to stay away from, how to fast, how to improve vision, how to improve everything, literally. So the Human Health Guide has been released. If you want that, I'll put all the links in the bottom in the description. Hope you all enjoyed the lecture, people. God bless you all. You are not breathing correctly. 98% of people only use a third of their lungs capacity, which is shallow breathing, which ages you, lowers your brain capacity, and also lowers your state of consciousness. So it's essential that you breathe consciously on a day-to-day basis, because this is what truly elevates your consciousness. I am going to give you the key for you to raise your consciousness just through breathing alone. Such a simple thing, but yet the most effective way for raising your state of consciousness and becoming more spiritually and mentally advanced. So tune in for this video and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it and the symbolism behind breathing. Air is more than just air. It carries electromagnetic energy. So now I'm going to give you the science behind this spiritual truth. This invisible force is what sustains all physical life, providing the life force energy essential for existence. Electromagnetism. Everything is fed off electromagnetism. Your body is an electromagnetic battery. Now, we can prove that air carries electromagnetism just by doing a simple test, a simple scientific experiment, by getting liquid oxygen and pouring it between a north and south magnetic pole, two polar opposite magnets. We see that the liquid does not fall straight through it. It is sucked, it is magnetically attracted to these two opposing forces, opposing magnets. This is proof that air, liquid oxygen carries electromagnetism. When you are breathing electromagnetism, the essential life force behind all living beings. This is known as energy or prana, chi, ether or spirit. This is all the same thing. Air is not just empty space, it is energy. It is prana, it is life force, it is spirit, it is ether, chi, prana. You are an electromagnetic being. Your consciousness is in direct correlation with your electromagnetic aura or biofield around your body. Your state of consciousness is mirrored within this field around your body. Now your breath, when you breathe in, you're breathing electromagnetism or life force. Breath is the vital link between the physical and the spiritual, bridging the body with the soul. Through breath, we connect with both tangible world and deeper, the unseen realms of energy and consciousness. Breathing deeply and properly elevates our consciousness, enhancing the brain's functions, heightening the sensitivity of our five senses. It also brings a profound calmness to the mind, creating a state of clarity and inner peace. Like I said earlier, breathing properly is the fastest way to elevate your consciousness. It is the fastest way, because breathing, when you stop breathing, what happens? You lose physical consciousness. Your body will shut down if you do not breathe in this vital electromagnetic energy in the oxygen. If your body does not get this for 5 minutes or however you can last without breathing, this makes you lose physical consciousness. Your body will not survive without this essential life force energy. Therefore, air is one of the most overlooked things. This is why we see the symbolism of Buddha having a big belly. Why does he have a big belly? Because it's symbolizing breath work, proper spiritual breath work, the certain teachings of breath work, of when you breathe in through the nose, you have to breathe in through the nose. You don't want to breathe in through the mouth, because the nose acts as a filter which catches dust particles and filters out the air before it enters the lungs. The mouth does not do that. The nose is for breathing inward. We breathe in through the nose, and when we breathe into our belly, not our lungs. When we breathe into our belly and our belly expands outwards, we are then moving this energy down from the nose down the spinal column. And when we breathe back out, the belly goes in, which is raising the energy up the spinal column, back out through the mouth. This is the true way of breathing, because when we breathe, we are moving energy. We are moving electromagnetic energy. When we breathe in through the nose, the energy travels down the spinal column,
And when we breathe out, we are raising this energy back up the spine, some of it going out the mouth, and some of it reaching the brain, activating dormant brain cells in the brain. But when we breathe, we need to make sure we are using 100% of our lungs' capacity, because the lungs is what transforms this special energy into consciousness, physical consciousness. So this is why Buddha has a big belly. It's not because he was fat. It's not because he was overweight. It's symbolism. It's symbolism of breath work. So try this. Do this for 2 minutes while you watch this video. Breathe in through the mouth as hard as you can until you no longer can fill any more air into your lungs and belly. Breathe it into your belly, not your lungs. And breathe out through the mouth. Do this for 5 minutes or 2 minutes, however long. I promise you, breath affects your consciousness. You will notice the difference. If you do it quicker, the quicker it'll affect your consciousness, and you might go lightheaded. But that lightheaded is you activating your spirit, your energy body. So try this just by when watching this video. When you breathe consciously, you are renewing both your energy body and astral body, aligning your consciousness with a higher state. This practice feeds new life force energy into the body, revitalizing and enhancing your overall well-being. Like I said, your brain requires the most amount of oxygen. When we have shallow breathing, this is reducing the brain's capacity. Because when we are not breathing properly, which 98% of people are only using a third of their lungs' capacity, we are essentially only using a third of our consciousness, because your breath is directly correlated to your consciousness, your state of consciousness. When you breathe in through the mouth, out through the mouth, out in through the nose, out through the mouth, consciously and deeply for 5 minutes, you will notice that your senses are more powerful and sensitive. Your brain is quicker. What's the word? It processes information quicker. You become quicker. You become a superhuman, and you feel more spiritual because it activates your spirit, your astral and energy body. So when we meditate, it's definitely important to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth as deeply as possible to align with a higher state of consciousness. And this is the easiest way to separate your consciousness from the body. When you breathe in deeply for long periods of time, while meditating, while taking no thought, when no thought is present and you gain a rhythm of deep breathing, this is the gateway. This is the gateway to opening your consciousness. Because when you stop thinking, other aspects of your consciousness can open up. All of our lives we've been thinking, which has blocked off the higher states of consciousness. So breathing is very, very important. It affects our overall well-being. And this is Yahweh, the in and the out of breathing. When we breathe in, this is Yah. You can hear it. It sounds like Yah. And when we breathe out, that is Way. This is the name of God, apparently. But God is within you. You can connect with God. You can connect with source consciousness within you by breathing, by raising your state of consciousness through breathing and meditation. This is why the Bible tells you the Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. You are consciousness. You are God. You're an extension of God's consciousness. Job 27:3. As long as my breath is in me and the Spirit of God is in my nostrils. The Spirit of God is through breath. John 20:22. And when he said this, he breathed on them and said to them, receive the Holy Spirit. The word spirit means breath. In Greek, Hebrew, Latin, it all means breath or wind or air. The Holy Spirit is a certain way of breathing, a breathing technique that elevates your consciousness, that syncs you up to a holy consciousness, an elevated state. That is the Holy Spirit. That's why it tells you in the Bible, when he said this, he breathed onto them. He breathed onto them and said, receive the Holy Spirit. You must breathe to receive the Holy Spirit. When you breathe, you are renewing the body's energy. You're taking in new life force, which is regenerating your cells, regenerating your brain, nervous system, and also connecting with consciousness, pure consciousness. This is not something that we should be doing during meditation. Yes, it is. We should be doing it during meditation, but this is something that we need to apply all of the time. This is the fastest way you can raise your consciousness. I just want to say, all of this knowledge is inside of the Book of Wisdom, Volume 2. Make sure to give a like and a comment on this video to help the algorithm. And let me know what you think about the last book or this book if you have read them, to let the new people know what they're looking at with this book. This is truly life-changing, the Volume 2 and Volume 1 is truly life-changing. You can get them in a bundle also. Learn hidden knowledge inside of the Ethereal University. This is where truth seekers belong. I'm not here to try sell you this, but this is the place for truth seekers. And if you are serious about your spiritual journey and serious about gaining knowledge, which gives you the advantage of a life, join Ethereal University. This will definitely help you. Thank you for watching this video. Please leave a like and comment. Make sure to give me any suggestions on videos you want me to make in the future. Thank you all. You don't just have a physical body. You have a physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional body. Each one of these aspects are a body of its own. Body does not just refer to a physical substance. You have a mental body for thinking, an emotional body for your emotions, a spiritual body for your energy in your astral form, and a physical body to encapsulate all of these. Each four of these aspects are essential for the human experience and essential to balance. Now, today we're going to be syncing the four aspects of your consciousness with the four seasons and the four elements, and how this ties into the Bible. So we have four physical elements. We have 5 elements in total, spirit being the most important, but spirit is pure invisible. We have 4 physical elements. We have air, fire, earth, water. Earth and water are feminine. Air and fire are masculine. Air and fire are active. Water and earth are passive. The air corresponds with the mental body of consciousness. This is where your intellect, this is where your communication, this is where your thoughts, intuition all comes from. This is the mental body of consciousness that allows you to think, allows you to process, figure things out, and have intellect and gain knowledge. This is your intellectual aspect of your consciousness, located in the head region. We have a fire nature, a spiritual nature. This is our astral body. Our astral body is all to do with the subconscious realms, the higher realms of consciousness. This is the body that allows us to be free from the physical body. Our spirit is more of our energy. Water is our emotional body. This is what allows us to feel things, that allows us to gain intuitive feelings of conscience. So emotion allows us to understand what is right and what is wrong. When we feel something bad, we know that this is wrong. When we feel something good, we know that we are doing good. Emotions are a creational force that allows us to feel certain things to bring them into existence. Our emotional body is a creational force and should not be reactive, and they should be controlled. Most actions are stemmed from emotions. Actions bring thought into physical existence. Emotions are the driving power. They are what drives your actions. The thought, then the emotion, then the action. Earth is your physical body. This is your physical state that allows you to take mind and emotion into action, into fruition, into physical matter. This is what your physical body allows your consciousness, your soul, to interact with the physical world and bring things into physical existence. The physical body, the physical world, is an outcome and an effect of the thinking mind. All physical substance comes from the thinking mind. The pen, the phone you're holding, the microphone I'm speaking into, all began as a thought in the thinking mind, then it was brought into physical reality. Earth is the most dense. So it goes in this order: body, emotions, spirit, mind. The higher you go up, the more lucid and fluidic it becomes. The lower you go down, the more dense and dull it becomes. Air is the mind, fire is the spirit, water is the emotion, earth is the physical body. So this is why you are a microcosm. You have these four things within you. You contain of these four elements, which correspond to the four bodies of your consciousness, the four bodies of the soul. You are the soul. You are the spirit. So this is why in Theologians 4:17 it says, caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. You don't meet God or the Lord in the physical air, in the clouds. This is clearly a parable. A human being cannot go up to the clouds and meet a mystical man in the clouds. This is obviously a parable, a metaphor. The air is your mind. You must raise your consciousness beyond the body, beyond the emotions, beyond the spirit, and enter in the mind during meditation, turning the mind inward to connect with the Lord. The Lord is the highest aspect of your consciousness, the one that exists beyond the physical body, beyond your emotions, beyond the thought. So you meet the Lord in the air, in the mind. The mind represents the air. This is why in America there's a saying called an airhead. You're an airhead. This means that you are stupid, or you don't think, or you have nothing in your mind. You have nothing in your head. When someone's very stupid, you call them an airhead, because air represents the mind. The air is elevated. The air is invisible. The mind is totally invisible to the human eyes. It is a metaphysical substance. In fact, it's not a substance at all. It's so fluidic. It's everywhere. The mind can be everywhere at all times. It can be anything. Nothing is impossible within the mind. Now, this is synced with the 4 seasons. The 4 seasons represent the 4 aspects of human consciousness, the 4 bodies of your consciousness, the 4 bodies of your soul. The sun is your soul, okay? And the sun travels around 4 seasons. Summer, when the sun is the most hottest point. Autumn, when the sun starts to move away from the hottest point. Things start to die. Then it goes to winter. This is when everything dies. This is when things enter in within itself. This is when darkness occurs. Then spring. This is the reignition of the sun. This is when the sun starts to bring back the warmth back to the summer. You have 4 seasons which correspond to the 4 bodies of consciousness. Fire is the spirit. This is when you are passionate. This is when you are taking action. This is when you are fiery. The sun is blazing. You're taking action. You're very passionate. You're very spirit. You're in the spirit. Autumn is water, emotion. This is when you start to become very reflecting. This is when you start to feel emotional. Because in autumn there's lots of water. This represents the emotional body of consciousness. Winter is the mind. This is air. Winter, what happens in winter? Everything enters within itself. The leaves die. The trees die. Everything dies and goes within. This is the mind. The mind is the darkness, remember. You close your eyes to enter within the mind. The winter represents meditation. In the winter, what do people do? They stay inside of their house. They research more. They read more books. They become more intellectual. They think more in the winter because we are so we're stuck inside. So we're more reflective. We're thinking more. We're more communicative. We're more intellectual. In the spring, this represents the earth, the body. This is when we start to come out of the mind and we awaken to the body, and things start to grow again. The plants start to grow. The earth is growing again and reborn again. This is the body. This is when you become more active in the spring. And then the summer, back to the summer, we then take action on these thoughts and these thoughts that we gained over the winter. Essentially, this is just a massive cycle. And this is a daily cycle also. The nighttime is the winter. The morning is the spring. The midday is the summer. And the evening time is the autumn. This is a microcosm. We have 4 bodies of consciousness. You are the sun, you are the soul, and the soul has 4 bodies: summer, autumn, winter, spring. Emotion, air, body, spirit. Sorry, emotion, mind, body, spirit. So you are the soul. You are the pure essence of consciousness. The sun is your soul in the heart. And the seasons are inside of you because you are a microcosm. Okay? You are a microcosm. The word sun is son. The Latin word for sun is sol, which is soul or solo, because the sun is solo. It's on its own. You are the soul, and the soul has the 4 different bodies of consciousness. So, before we move on any further, if I've blown your mind, please, if you can, leave a like, a comment, a share, and a subscribe. Let me know what videos you want me to make in the future. Please drop a like, it definitely will help me. You are a microcosm of the macrocosm. Man is a miniature universe that goes through its own cycles. The seasons of the summer, winter, spring, and autumn do not occur merely outside of him, but within him as well. The summer is within you. You feel different in the summer. You feel different in the winter. You feel, depending on the body of consciousness, it's your soul's interacting with. So the sun in the sky is your soul inside, and the sun goes through these cycles, which is affecting your bodies of consciousness, because the cycles represent your bodies of consciousness. Now this ties in with the Bible. This is why we have 4 Gospels. This is why Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are always seen with the 4 different zodiac sign animals or symbols. So you always see each one of the Gospels. If you just type in on Google Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, type in ancient paintings or pictures of them, and you will find these 4 zodiac signs are always standing with each one. Taurus, the bull; Leo, the lion; Scorpio, the eagle. An old symbol for Scorpio was the eagle, and a man for Aquarius. Here you see very, very ancient paintings and artwork. Here we see Matthew, the man, Aquarius. Here we see John, the Scorpio. The same here. We also see it on the tarot cards, on the world card. We see the 4 fixed zodiac signs. Here we see it as well. These are called the 4 fixed zodiac signs. Now, when we look at the zodiac, we're no longer looking at the sky. Because what you must understand is, as above, so below. What is above you is inside of you. What is above is what is below. What is outside of you is within you. The zodiac is inside of you. The zodiac revolves around the sun. The sun is your soul. These are different energies of your soul. Like I said earlier, the 4 seasons are the 4 bodies of your consciousness. And in each body of consciousness, you have these different energetic energies that you can work with. Okay, so this is the true astrology. This is the true astrology, the internal esoteric astrology. You can't find much information on this at all. Very hard to find. So what we're looking at are the four bodies of consciousness. Obviously, when you look in the middle of each, when we look in the middle of each season, spring, the middle of spring is Taurus. The middle of winter is Aquarius. The middle of autumn is Scorpio. The middle of summer is Leo. These four signs are known as the four fixed signs. Okay? Scorpio is fixed. It's the middle of autumn. Scorpio is a water sign, emotion. Aquarius is the air sign, the mind. Taurus is an earth sign, the body. Leo is a fire sign, the spirit. This is why we see Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John with the four fixed signs of the zodiac, which represent the four bodies of consciousness. Leo, the spirit, fire. Luke, Taurus, earth, body. Matthew, Aquarius, air, mind. John, Scorpio, water, emotion. Each gospel is depicting Jesus and showing Jesus in each gospel. Each one of these gospels is showing and depicting Jesus according to the different body of consciousness. In John, this is when Jesus starts to turn water into wine. Water is emotion, wine is transmuted emotion. This is when he does miracles with his emotions, water into wine. Aquarius, which is Matthew, air, the mind. Inside of the Gospel of Matthew, this depicts Jesus as an intellectual person, a person who's communicating and using his mind, his mental body a lot inside of the Gospel of Matthew. Go and read it, and you will see this. Luke, Taurus, earth, the body. Luke shows and depicts Jesus according to the body of consciousness, the physical body. He shows Jesus as a human, being a human being, helping people physically and helping people's physical needs, like giving away food and doing all sorts of good things for other people. Leo, Mark, inside of the Gospel of Mark, this shows Jesus as a spiritual teacher, a passionate person who is taking action. Each gospel is showing Jesus according to the different body of consciousness, and Jesus represents you, the Son. That's why it's called the Son of God, the light of the world. Jesus represents your soul, and your soul has these four gospels, the four bodies of consciousness, the four fixed signs, the four elements and the four seasons. These things all correspond to your consciousness. So this is Leonardo da Vinci showing you the exact same thing. Jesus is the I am, the Son, the soul, in the middle, on his own. Luke, spring, earth, body. There are three people in each group. There are four groups and there are three people in each group. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Fall, winter, summer, spring. These are according to the four bodies of consciousness. Here we see Aries, which rules the head region. He's on the head of the table. Gemini, he's holding up the two hands because Gemini rules the two hands, the two arms. Gemini is the two twins, which is the two arms and two hands, and the two lungs. Beginning of summer, which is Cancer. You see the big knife here? Cancer, him here, this grey-haired guy, holding a knife for the crab. Cancer, they pinch. You have a knife, symbolizing the crab. Leo, the middle of summer, showing dominance. The sun is very dominant. He's got his elbow on the table, showing dominance. Virgo has no Adam's apple. Cancer here is pointing at this woman's neck, saying there's no Adam's apple. This is Virgo, the virgin, the only woman. Jesus, the sun. This is Libra, the balancing. He's holding his arms out, balanced, showing the balancing of the sun, because when the sun enters Libra, the sun is balanced between winter and summer. So it's balanced. This is all astrology, but this is internal. Okay? This is Ezekiel's vision. Ezekiel had a vision in the Bible. And he saw the face of a man, the face of a lion, the face of an ox, and the face of an eagle. The eagle Scorpio, the ox is Taurus, the lion is Leo, and the man is Aquarius. He saw the throne of God. And he saw the different bodies of consciousness. This is all symbolic for the different bodies of your soul. So when we look at the zodiac, we are actually looking at a map and the energies of our soul, and the energies of our bodies, and the energies of our consciousness. This is what we are looking at. Each zodiac is an aspect of our consciousness and an energy that we can work with and that we must purify. Balance and purification is essential. Imagine playing a brand new video game. Let's say a brand new video game came out and you had to play it. What happens when you play that game? You don't know the controls. You cause chaos in that game. You can't really run properly. You can't do anything properly. You're getting destroyed by other people who are playing that game. It's the same with your physical body. When you are born, you must learn how to play the game. You must learn how to balance the mind, learn how to balance the spirit, the emotions, and the physical body. We must balance and purify each body of our consciousness. We must look after our physical body with our physical health by eating physical, electrical food like fruits and veg. We must look after our minds by being conscious of what enters our eyes, enters our ears, enters everything. Whatever enters our five senses is affecting our mind, our mental health, our environment, mental. We need to look after our thoughts, control our thoughts by purifying our thoughts, only positive thoughts. Then we must purify our emotions, feeling only gratitude and love and not feeling these negative, dull emotions. Then we must look after our spiritual body through meditation and looking after our spirit. But remember, when we look after our mind, it all begins in the mind. Each body of consciousness is interlocked with the other. If you have an unhealthy body, you have an unhealthy mind, spirit, and emotions. If you have an unhealthy mind, you have an unhealthy body, spirit, and emotions. If you have an unhealthy emotions, you have an unhealthy spirit, mind, and physical body. They're all interlocked. You must balance each one of them. Look after your physical body, look after your thoughts, look after your emotions, look after your spirit. But remember, the mind is the most powerful one. It's mind over matter. Once we look after the mind, because once we start to control our minds and control every thought we think, this will then turn into discipline in our physical body. Because once we learn how to discipline the mind, we learn how to discipline what we eat, we learn how to discipline what we feel, we learn how to discipline our spirit. This is all interlocked, but work on the mind first. Work on the mind first. All of this knowledge is inside of the brand new Book of Wisdom, Volume 2. This is a revolution of human consciousness. If you've read it, please leave a review down below. If you've read Volume 1, leave a review down below. This is the next revolution. I don't see this information anywhere. This is the next revolution of human consciousness. And of course, if you are serious about this and you truly want to gain enlightenment and join an amazing community where you can connect with me on live calls, lectures, the Manifestation Mastery course, you can gain access to my library with over 45 PDFs plus my books. And if you do join the university, you can order a Volume 2 free of charge. All you have to do is to pay for shipping. If you truly take your knowledge serious and you want to take advantage of life, join the university. This is where truth seekers belong. Just want to say thank you all. Please leave a comment. Please leave a like. It's going to help me a lot spread this knowledge to the world. And yeah, share this with a friend and subscribe. Thank you all. People, how are you all doing? It's Revival of Wisdom.
and today we're going to be talking about your birth certificates and how we are slaves to a system and how they have trapped us into this system. Okay, so the first thing you need to understand about this system is there are two types of laws. You have the law of water, which is Admiralty law, and the law of the land. So the Admiralty law is the law of water, and this is what money is. Money is water. This is why we say liquidity, currency, the current. A current is water, something moving through something. Cash flow. And this is why banks are called banks, because a river bank is on either side of the water and it directs the currency. You see? So money is water. And as you can see here, Ripple, the cryptocurrency, Ripple, water Ripple, and they're building a bridge over water, overseas, international banking with cryptocurrency. So money is water. And this has specific laws about water, but water is the same everywhere, you see. What the difference is with the law of the land is that you can have different laws in different lands. I can't do certain things in the UK that people can do in America, for example. You see, that's the law of the land, but the law of water is the same, because water is everywhere. Now, this is very important to understand when it comes to, you know, these birth certificates. So, Pope Gregory, this is where we're going to start off. Pope Gregory in 1582 took the Orthodox Eastern sunrise calendar and changed it to his own Gregorian timeline, not a calendar, a timeline. This timeline was copyrighted by Pope Gregory under the name of the Vatican. So the Vatican owns the timeline that we are using today, 2023. They own it. They own the title of this Gregorian calendar. Okay? Therefore, anyone who is born under this copyrighted timeline, not calendar, they are subjected to Rome because Rome owns the timeline. They have a patent, a copyright for that timeline. What is on our birth certificates? That timeline. We are born underneath, we are subjected to the Vatican. This is why all birth certificates go to the Vatican. They own every single birth certificate. Okay? So when we use this timeline, we are subjecting ourselves to this timeline, okay, which the Vatican has a claim over. This calendar or timeline is set to sunset, not the sunrise, which is associated with death, darkness, and the moon, lunatics. You see, so this is a sunset calendar timeline. Okay, this is now, they've changed a couple things, right? They say that the new year is January the 1st. Okay? When we know this is in winter. January is winter, which is associated with darkness, death, the death of nature. So this is a death cult, people. These people are evil. They're so evil. The Vatican. And this is why we use April Fool's Day, because April is in Aries, and Aries is always the start of the zodiac. This is why Aries rules the head region. 12 zodiacs, 12 systems of the body. Each zodiac is associated with each part of the body, and this is why Aries is the head, cerebrum. But we're not going to talk about it in this video. But yes, that is what April Fool's Day is. They're putting it in your face. April Fool's Day is the real start of the year, when the sun starts to rise again, when the risen Savior is resurrected, when it's born again. This is when the Jews celebrate the Passover. This is when the Christians celebrate the resurrection of Jesus, and they eat lamb. The Jews eat lamb because we're in Aries, the new year. The sun is now born again, our risen Savior, the light of the world. So yes, this is what April Fool's Day is. It's the first day of the year. which they changed. Pope Gregory changed. So you need to understand is that you are in the womb. You are inside of a ship, because every ship, literally a ship, every ship is female. This is why they say she delivers the product, because she does deliver the product, you, the baby. Same thing with a ship, they deliver products. They are a she. And when they pull up to the bay, like you can see on this picture, they're pulling up to the bay. This is now called the birth canal. The ship is now in birth, on paper. Okay, this is law. And when they pull up, they tie up to the bay, and now they get a certificate of manifest certifying all of the products which are on the ship and what they are bringing into that nation. Okay, so you're bringing in this many of that, everything's on the certificate of manifest. And this certificate of manifest is also your birth certificate, because you are traveling through water when you are in the birth canal of your mother, because you are in water when you are in the womb. And you travel through the birth canal, and when you arrive, you get a certificate of manifest with the name, how many, the quantity, that's your birth certificate. Okay? And this is what it is. We are a we're not a corporation, but we represent a corporation, which is your name in full capital letters. That is your corporation. You cannot physically tax a body, but you can tax a corporation. This is why we get charged. This is why we get taxed, because it all goes down to the corporation which our name represents, which we are subjecting ourselves to. We are my name, I am subjecting myself to this name, and that name has a corporation which I represent, which I subject myself to. You see, this is how we are attached to this straw man, this character that they have built on paper. So it's a character which is on paper. This is what we represent. So when the woman gives birth, she delivers the baby, and then she has another substance. Now I'm going to break down how they attach this name to us, how they do it. Okay, our mother is carrying us the product in the womb, the water, and it goes, for example, it goes from the United Kingdom into a state-owned, corporate, federal-owned hospital, which is government-owned. She does not declare the package when she enters the building. Aha, so keep that in mind. When she delivers the package in the federal territory, she does not declare the package either when she leaves. Therefore, there is no evidence that we exist when we arrive. On paper. On paper, there is no evidence that we came into the building or left the building. We have not been declared. So we do not exist on paper at this point. When the woman gives birth, she delivers the baby, and then she has another substance, which is called the afterbirth material. Okay? This afterbirth material has the same DNA as our physical body, with the body, mind, and spirit. Okay? This is how they get this corporation. Hold on. The afterbirth material does not get claimed by the mother nor anyone. Therefore, they salvage that substance, because we are under the Vatican. Every state is all Catholic. Your birth certificate is Catholic. No matter what religion you think you are, every single birth certificate is Catholic, because we are subjected to Rome. All roads lead to Rome. Rome runs all of this. Okay? We're still under the Roman Empire. Okay, so Rome are Catholic, and they believe in salvation. This is how religion comes into this. This is how they use religion to get this. So they salvage the afterbirth material, and they claim it, and they salvage it and give it and charge it to Rome, and they give it a name. Here's the legal term: born alive. Here's what it says. Each product of such birth is considered live, born, and fully recognized as a human person. So each product of such birth So that could be anything. The afterbirth, the person who actually comes out, the baby. So your afterbirth, which we do not take with us, we take the baby with us. They keep that in the hospital. They collect the afterbirth, and they salvage it, and they give it the name, which it is us. We are a representative to that afterbirth material, which they put the name on. They claimed, which is subject to Rome. So we are walking around our whole lives as a representative to that claimed salvaged afterbirth material, which the federal state have. Okay? We are under the Catholic Church, Vatican, therefore the afterbirth material is a child of God. See? On paper, therefore they believe in salvation and salvage the afterbirth material. This material has no mother or father. The state pick it up, it becomes a war to the courts and gets charged to the state. So we are a representative to that character they salvaged because it is the exact same DNA as you. Subject is the name or the title, and the matter is the physical aspect left behind in the hospital, which represents us. You see? So now we're moving on to Unum Sanctum. Unum Sanctum was in 1302, a very, very important year. Very important year. Unum Sanctum says this is basically how they claim everyone in the world. So the Vatican had all this power, all this gold, all these people under them. They need to get a claim for them so then they can rule over them and make them slaves. So what they did, they created Unum Sanctum. Pope Boniface VIII did this. And it says, the spiritual man judges of all things, and he himself is judged by no man. The spiritual man, keep that in mind, unless he invent like Manichaeus, two beginnings, which is false and judged by heretical, since according to the testimony of Moses, it is not in the beginnings, but in the beginning that God created heaven and earth. Furthermore, we declare, we proclaim, we define that it is absolutely necessary for salvation that every human creature to be subjected to the Roman pontiff. So they are claiming us in Unum Sanctum, and it's in the vaults in the Vatican. They will put a spell on it because they are sorcerers, they are magicians. They put a spell on it, they lock it up, and whatever goes on that piece of paper goes. And this Unum Sanctum is claiming all of us. So what does it say in the beginning? The spiritual man judges of all things, and he himself is judged by no man. The spiritual man, the man with the body, mind, and soul, the first baby that comes out the birth canal. That's you, your body, you, body, mind, and soul. You have the Christ, which is I am, which is grace. Grace means here, now, in the present. You have the Christ, which means I am. Therefore, you have a soul. If you can say I am, you have the Christ. You have a soul. But a creature can be anything with no soul. You see, so no man can judge the man with the soul. However, as it says in the second part, we proclaim, we define that it's absolutely necessary for salvation that every human creature to be subject to the Roman pontiff. So they are subjecting the afterbirth, not the man with the body, mind, and soul, but the afterbirth to the Roman pontiff, to the Roman Catholic Church. We are the ones who are claiming to be the afterbirth material, which is our birth certificate, which is our representative. We represent that because it is our DNA. This is how we are stuck. We are stuck because we represent this DNA, which is on paper, recorded. See? So we, being untaught, uneducated in these subjects, we are subjecting ourselves to this system, to this slavery, because we just want to live. We just want to live happily, just peaceful. Think about it. Where's all this coming from? Where's all this war, all this killing, deaths coming from? We just want to live. It's coming from the Roman, the Catholic Church, these evil death cult, which has subjected us, which has used us as slaves, and we are still slaves, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. So this is how we have subjected ourselves to be the slaves to this system. It's a lot to take in, and there's a lot more deeper stuff which goes into this. I'm just going over the surface. I'm going quite deep, but there is little details that I still need to learn myself. But this is the general how that we've been stuck to this slave system. So we are batteries, okay? This is why we get charged. When you go in a court, you get charged, okay? Because you're a biological battery. This is why cities look like motherboards, because we are feeding energy to this matrix. Okay, when we look outside of ourselves, when we give power to so-called Jesus Christ, worshipping idols outside of ourselves, where attention goes, energy flows. We are feeding the matrix with energy. By looking within, placing your attention within yourself, you are taking back your power. Because the I am is Christ. The you, the soul, is Christ. It's God. The awareness is God. Okay? However, we are subjecting ourselves to this system. We're subjecting ourselves to this system. And the feeding of our energy. So what we need to look for the future is that, think about it, with the end goal is to change our DNA, is to literally make us robots, transhumanism, slaves. This is why we have smart cars, smartphones, smart watches, smart meters, smart cities, and all of this is going to be connected by the smart grid, which is 5G. This is why 5G is rolling out. 5G is going to connect all of these technologies to one. It's like a big net system. And you know why they're doing this? It's because all of this is going to be connected through AI, through this 5G, and that 5G is going to be controlled by the elites. So you say anything wrong, you do something wrong, you say the wrong thing online, they'll turn off your car, they'll turn off your phone, they'll turn off your smartwatch, they'll turn off your TV, because it's all going to be connected and controlled by the smart grid. And this is what the Great Reset is, people. But they're going to trap us inside of these 15-minute smart cities, so we can't leave the area, because they're going to use climate change as a tool to enslave us to not travel because of so-called climate change and the fumes that we are putting into the air, which is all BS. They're doing this to push these new cities, to push all of it. But listen, they're trying to get inside of your body. The only way they can do that is to get you addicted and using this technology. First, they got on the body with the smartphone. Well, first of all, we use the technology. We get used to it with it in our hand. The next step for them was to get on the body, which is the Apple Watch, as you see down here. They have now successfully got onto the body. The next thing is to get inside of the body. This is the brain chip. You see how they've slowly lured their way in, slowly got you addicted to this technology, got you dependent on this technology. And what they're going to do is that they're going to mold society to be dependent on the brain chip. So in order, for example, if you want to go and pay for food, you're going to have to get a chip to pay for the food, because it's all going to be digital money. And that digital money will be connected to the chip, and you'll need the chip to pay for things. You see? So this is how they're slowly transhumanizing us. These phones, these apps, these things which are all which are all using was created by Freemasons. Mason means traveler, because they travel the depths of the mind. They understand human consciousness. They understand the brain. They understand the mind. By the deepest root cause, they understand it. This is what Masonry is. It's the occult. So these technologies is designed by these people. This is why they're so addictive, because they understand how it works. They understand how to get people addicted, because they understand human consciousness, the brain, the body, and the mind. So this is the advantage Freemasons have over us. And these secret societies, which have gone through the orders of Freemasonry and progressed onto these secret societies, which are the evil side, because I'm not saying Freemasonry is evil, okay? But the societies which they go beyond Freemasonry, because you can go beyond the 33rd degree into these secret societies, and they use this knowledge for the bad, to enslave people. And this is what's going to happen. Transhumanism. So I hope you all learned some insight for today. Please do a bit more research on, birth certificate and stuff like that, the straw man. And have an amazing day, people. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Peace. How are we all doing today, people? It's Revival of Wisdom, and today we're going to get real deep. This video is going to get real deep. A lot of people are not going to be ready for this sort of knowledge, okay? You really have to do is to really deprogram the mind, because everything we've been taught is a complete lie, is to keep us trapped, okay? This is really advanced knowledge. Now, let's get straight into this. All of the ancients depicted other worlds, and they called this place Midgard. Midgard is the mid-garden, the middle garden. This is why the Masonic symbolism on the floor is always a black and white checkered board, symbolizing the polarity here, the good and bad, because we're in the middle garden, the heart. Earth rearranged spells heart, because we're in the heart of this system, of whatever it is, a super quantum computer, whatever you want to call it, simulation. Now, in the Quran, it talks about the 7 layers of heaven. All of these ancient artworks are depicting these different layers of reality. Okay, and look at the Egyptians here with the boat outside of the firmament. Boats travel on water, and this is exactly what the Masons are doing. So they're still using the same symbols. Why? Because it's the same knowledge, just hidden. The Egyptians have the same knowledge as the Freemasons. It's just hidden. Now, this cosmology that they're showing here, which is probably made maybe 100 years ago, this painting or artwork, is the exact same as the one we see here, with the arch, the boat. It's similar, because the boat is symbolizing traveling these other worlds, because the ether is also symbolized as water, because if you look up at the stars through a telescope, it looks like it's water. It's shining through water, because this ether, whatever this substance is outside of this world, was symbolized as water. Okay, and look at all these ancient depictions showing these different layers of reality. Now, we are being trapped within this 3D dimensional world, which is the cube, the Saturn cube, because there are 6 sides to everything in this world. Front, back, left, right, up and down. 6, which is the cube, because we're in the Saturn's world. Okay, now always been depicted as a tree of life, the tree of the universe has always been depicted as this tree. Because let's get a bit deeper. Now, the cosmology of this reality is the sun, the moon, and Polaris, always in the Masonic art. The sun, the moon, and Polaris, the all-seeing eye. If you go inside of the temples, of the Masonic temples, they always have this star in the middle, shining light beams. Okay? Look here. The light beams coming from the big star in the middle, which is Polaris. This eye is God. It's God's light shining down from his abundance. Now, when you astral travel, you will see this big ball of light above you, and this big ball of light is God. But you cannot travel towards it until you are pure. It doesn't work like that. You have to become formless. You have to become pure before you can become one with the light. All these Masonic artworks, it's all depicting the star in the center. This star is Polaris, because Polaris is the way out of this place. And this is why you see the stairway to heaven all the way up to the light beam, the light source. What does it say in the Bible? God is light, because everything is made out of one substance, and that substance is light. And it symbolizes the eye, because God is an eye. All things that are alive have an eye. And we all say, I am. We all see these realities through eyes. God is an eye. He's the all-seeing eye. He sees all things at all times. And he is projecting this light. And this light comes down to create all the different levels of the worlds. And this is what the 2 pillars symbolize the number 11. 11, the number 1, is just a vertical line. It's the 1. It's a 1 point. 11 symbolizes the mirror nature of reality. Everything's mirrored. As above, so below. Now, the 11 also symbolizes openings, doorways. And as you can see here, an opening to the all-seeing eye. And you see it here again, an opening to the stairway all the way up to the light. This light is the light of God in the astral worlds, beyond this world. Now, Polaris has also been symbolized as the UFO. They put the truth in plain sight. So you know in the films how the UFOs suck people up. That's what Polaris is doing. If you ascend beyond this world, if you do not ascend beyond this world, you will be reincarnated in this world. The whole thing is to outgrow this consciousness to the plane above. And I'm not just making this up, I'm going to be bringing in scriptures after this. But you can see with the Christmas tree, we always put a high, big star at the center, at the top, which is the star of Polaris, which is exactly what the Masons are doing here. The star at the top. And it's on top of our Christmas trees. And all of these symbolize the other stars, because Polaris is the most high star, and all the other stars are wrapped around the firmament lower than Polaris. And that's exactly what the Christmas tree is. And it's a triangle. It's a triangle, just like light beams travel from one point in the triangle, just like the all-seeing eye. It's a triangle. The light is coming from one point and sending its rays downward. You see, it's kind of like you see here with the water. And the lower you go, the darker it gets, the more evil it becomes. And this is what the ancients would call hell. Now, this all-seeing eye is Polaris, and below Polaris is Mount Meru, the North Pole, the magnetic North Pole, the Tower of Babel, which is in the Bible. The etymology of the word Babel, Ba meaning spirit, which gives the ability to move the soul through the worlds, which is that's the ancient Egyptian description of the word Ba, meaning of the word Ba. You have the Ka, the Ba, the Ak, but the Ba is the one that gives the ability for the soul to move through the worlds. Your soul can't speak into a world without incarnating into it. Now, the Tower of Babel symbolizes Mount Meru because it's the word Ba is the spirit which gives the ability for the soul to move through the worlds. The Tower of Babel is the magnetic North Pole, Mount Meru, which gives the ability to move through these different worlds. And you can see the ancient Tibetans always showing this depiction of these different worlds coming from the center. Because we have to ascend our consciousness. It's not about how good you are to reach heaven. It's about how you expand your consciousness, you expand your mind. So they teach now that you have to be good in order to reach to heaven. It's about expanding the mind, expanding your consciousness to these different planes, these different realms. So that's what it's about. And Jesus was known as the fisher of man. Now, Jesus is a massive part of this. He was known as the fisher of man because he was fishing. He could have been fishing. He could have been one of these deities that had come down from these different higher realities and pull people up. So they called Jesus the fisher of man. And he says unto them, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." So these deities that we see in the past, like Buddha, Krishna, Hermes, Thoth, Jesus, could all be these entities who were coming down to pick up the minds that were worthy enough to see the higher planes of reality. And this is why they called him the fisher of man. Now, when Jesus walks on water, there is a parable with Paul. And he says, "But Jesus immediately said unto them, Take courage, it is I, don't be afraid." He's talking about astral travel here. He's talking about leaving the body. Because when you leave the body in astral travel to see these alternative realities, you can't be afraid because fear is a bondage, which is what the Emerald Tablets talks about. "Lord, if it's you," Peter replied, "tell me to come to you on the water." The water. "Come," he said. And Peter got down from the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid and began to sink. When you become afraid in astral travel, you sink back into your body. "Lord, save me." So this is talking about Jesus pulling people up into different realities. And you can see the fish is the symbol of Jesus. This is another symbol of Jesus, a fish. Because fish symbolize deep occult knowledge. Because fish travel the depths of the ocean. And they symbolize us because we are fish underneath the ethers. And Jesus was pulling people up. You see, so the Bible is a people today believe the Bible is a book telling you how to reach to heaven, how to become godly and reach heaven. But you've got to become the Jesus Christ to see these alternative realities. Now look at the Emerald Tablets is a massive part, and it speaks so much about these different realities. Look what it says here. This is in Emerald Tablet 3. Then in my heart grew a great longing to conquer the pathway that led to the stars, which is exactly what the Masons depict in all of their art. Look, the ladder to the stars. And then he goes on to say, years after years I sought after wisdom, seeking new knowledge, following the way, until at last my soul in great travail broke from its bondage and bounded away. Broke from the bondage of the body. Free was I from the bondage of earth men. Free from the body, I flashed through the night. The stars. The stars are a massive part in the astral world. Each star is a different reality. And the true astrology is the star that you came from. You came through a star to reach this, to reach here. There is a reason why you are here. There's a reason why you have the personality traits, because your soul came from a specific star. This is why we call them stargates, because they are gates in and out of this reality. And Polaris is the way out to the higher worlds. Now look, far into space, my soul traveled freely into the infinite circles of light. Beyond knowledge were some planets and great gigantic beyond dreams of men. Then he goes to say, lift up your flame from out of the darkness, fly from the night and ye shall be free. Lift up your flame. Your flame is your soul, because it has to be lifted up out of the darkness. This is the darkness, this world, this body is the darkness. Because it's a bondage. You need to break free. You need to learn how to astral travel, people. You have to learn this. If you want to get out of this world, you have to learn how to astral travel and see the other realities. Traveled I through space-time, knowing my soul at last was set free, knowing that now I must pursue wisdom until at last I pass to a plane hidden from knowledge, known not to wisdom, extension beyond all that we know. So he's talking about he went to a place where we cannot even comprehend here, a place that is not even known to Earthmen. He's telling you he's ascended out of this world to the planes that are beyond. And it says here in the Emerald Tablets, man is in process of changing to forms that are not of this world. Grows he in time to the formless, a plane on the cycle above. Know ye must be one, ye must become formless before ye are one with the light. The light, the same light that I was talking about, the Masonic light, with the triangle, God, the one source. Ye must become formless before ye are with the light. Formless, you have to leave the body. You have to leave the body. You have to gain the ability to leave this body and travel to these other worlds. Now, it says here, not as man am I, for free have I become of dimensions and planes. In each I take on a new body. In each I change my form. Know I now that the formless is all there is of form. You see, all things created come from the things that, all things that you see come from the things that you cannot see. All of us have the same spark of consciousness, the same I am. Every dog, every animal, every human has this same I, this same thing which sees through the eye. It's formless. It takes, this formless entity is the same entity of us. We are all the same entity in different bodies. And this entity it was represented as the flame, the cosmic flame, which is inside of all of us. And this is why the Masons depicted your spine as a candle or the Holy Grail. You would either see this or a candle with a flame on the top, because the Holy Grail is your consciousness, which is on top of your spine, which is the candle. Now, Jesus, Thoth, Buddha were all these deities which were coming down to lift people up because they were fishermen of men. And he would lift you up to the higher worlds, out of this world, to the ones above. Now Thoth, you can see him here, he's leading the way. He's holding someone and he's leading the way with knowledge and power. He was leading the way to other worlds, out of this world. There's no point trying to change this world. This world will stay the same. It will stay the same. You have to get out of this world, and that's what they're telling you. That's what they're keeping you from. They're keeping you stuck within this thin layer of reality. So what the Masons are doing, they have the ability to astral travel. They're living not stuck and bound to one reality, but living within the different layers of reality. And this is what Morpheus was doing in the Matrix. Morpheus was going into the Matrix to go and get Neo, which is exactly what Jesus was doing, pulling up people out of this world to the ones higher. And that's exactly what Morpheus is doing in the Matrix. If you haven't watched the Matrix, go and watch it. It will blow your mind. Everything I'm saying in this video, you will see it. Except that you don't need to use a machine to enter the Matrix. You just use your body. Well, you use your consciousness to leave this body. You see, Neo was also uploading himself into the simulation to pull people out of the simulation. And this is exactly what all of these gods were doing. The Fisher of Man, look, he was pulling people up out of this reality with the knowledge. Now Jesus was always depicted with the mushrooms. Look at all this mushroom art. Mushrooms were literally the origin of Christianity. You can see it everywhere. There's mushrooms in all of the ancient art. Every single one of these paintings you see here, there's mushrooms on them. Mushrooms have the ability to see alternative states of consciousness. Now, if you go and do them, and you go to sleep, if you pop mushrooms, you go to sleep, and you will wake up in another reality. You will wake up in another reality. Don't try it if you don't want to do it. But if you've got the heart to do it, do it. Eat them, and go to sleep. You'll wake up in another reality. And Jesus was handing out mushrooms to the bright minds, to the minds that he wanted to fish out and pull up to the higher realities. He was giving them mushrooms to see themselves in an alternative state, in an alternative reality. This is why there was so much mushroom art. And it's not just ancient Christians, it's Sumerians, it's the Mayans, the Celtics, the Egyptians. All used mushrooms. All of them. Look at all this art. It's on stones, it's everywhere. Because mushrooms, see, everything in nature is a macro. Look at the form of a mushroom. It's literally your spine and brain. Because they alter your consciousness. Your body is just a radio receiver. Everything that you're experiencing is a program being ran by the central nervous system, and your consciousness is experiencing this program, these electrical impulses of the nervous system, because it's all feeding back to one point, which is the pineal gland. And this is the candle with the light on it. Type in Masonic candle and you'll see it. It's your spine with your spark of consciousness on top of the spine. And it's a mushroom because this sends you to alternative states of consciousness, alternative realities. Now, they were all doing this, the Egyptians, the Mayans. Now, there's more symbolism which goes into this. Look at the Christmas trees we use. The Christmas tree with the presents underneath them. Magic mushrooms grow under trees. And these are the presents under the trees that we symbolize today with Christmas. Santa's red and yellow for the red and yellow mushrooms. The same mushrooms Mario has to collect. And when he gets enough mushrooms, he levels up. And then what does he do when he go past the world? When you win that world in Mario, you go to another reality. You go inside of another world. It's truth in plain sight. And it's using mushrooms. It's using mushrooms. Everything, all of the characters in Mario, well, a lot of them are mushrooms. Look at this one. The presents, black, yellow, and red and white. Red and white mushrooms. And the bow on the top is the mushroom head. That's a bit of a reach, but, you know, the symbolism never lies. Is what you need to understand. And it's as above, so below. Now look at the Sumerians. The Sumerians were also multi-dimensional beings. Okay? Look at how they have the double faces. They had 1 foot in this reality and 1 foot in another reality. And look at this one, a double-headed god inside of like a portal. You see? Because it's, and look at these with the wings, the astral travel. Birds, ancient birds symbolize the soul. Because the soul is a bird, it flies to different worlds. It flies around the cosmos. And mushrooms gave you the ability to see these alternative states of consciousness, these alternate realities. Because you exist in infinite realities. You exist in infinite realities. Now look at the 33rd degree Ordo Ab Chao badge. You get this badge when you become a 33rd degree Freemason. And it's a double-headed eagle. A double-headed eagle. And you can see this in Sumeria first. Sumeria have the same symbol. A double-headed, well, bird. You can see it here. Here as well. And the Masons are still using this symbol today. And when you become a 33rd degree, 33 vertebrae on the back of your spine, above the vertebrae is your consciousness, and it's a double-headed eagle. One reality in one, you become a multi-dimensional being in the 33rd degree. And I've heard many interviews of Masons say it becomes Luciferian. You see, they speak in code. These Masons can't tell you about what they learn about, but they will speak in code. They said it becomes Luciferian. The word Luciferian is lucid. The root word of Luciferian is lucid, and lucid is lucid dreaming, alternative realities, dream worlds. You become a god. Luciferian means you're becoming your own god, pretty much. Because you are becoming a multi-dimensional being living in between the different layers of reality at the 33rd degree of Freemasonry. And look at the double-headed eagle, because the birds symbolize the soul. And they reach high, they fly high, just like the soul wants to fly high to the light, to become one with the light, like the Emerald Tablet says. Now look at Janus. Janus was another god, and he's known as the god of doorways. Janus always depicted with a double head. Janus is why we say janitor or January. And January is entering a new year. Janus is known as the god of doorways with keys, always got a key. Because keys open doors. That's why the janitor holds all the keys. And Janus always has double heads, because he had one foot in this reality, one foot in another. He was a multi-dimensional being, a Luciferian, living between the different layers of reality, except from instead of being stuck in one like we are. Well, a lot of people. And that's the whole point. You see, all of this stuff is about like changing the world and stuff like that. This world will probably never ever change. It's probably been like this forever. Well, forever, for a long time. But it's about moving out of this reality to the higher states. And the Masons always depict the ladder to the luminaries, the stars, with a key, the same key of Janus. The Vatican is a key, and it's in charge of all the religions. Why is it a key? Because they're holding back the key. They're keeping you stuck within this reality, keeping you stuck as identifying yourself with the body, identifying yourself with this world. You are not in the world is within you. This is a program being ran by your central nervous system, and your consciousness is experiencing this reality. Now, this is going to be a mind-blowing video for some people. You have to have an open mind. You have to let go of all the programs. I'm repeating what the ancients are talking about and the ancient symbolism. Look at Janus with the double-headed god. He was just another god coming down, giving keys to people who had the worthy mind to be pulled up out of this reality, to be pulled up to heaven, just like Jesus was teaching how to reach heaven. But really, it's an encoded scripture. But anyways, hope you all gained some insight on this video. Have an amazing day. Please like, share, comment. All the links are in the bio for the PDF, for the Manifestation Mastery course, and all the other amazing stuff. And if you want to support the channel, I'd greatly appreciate if you became a Patreon member. Hope you all have an amazing day, people. God bless.
Welcome to Revival of Wisdom.
Welcome people, we're back with another video. In this video we're talking about how Jesus Christ and Christianity is all sun worship. The Holy Bible of Christianity is not meant to be taken literal for history. It is a story and has lots of metaphors. Starting with the symbol of the cross of Jesus. This cross originates from this ancient cross of the sun. This symbol has been used for thousands of years, way before Jesus was a thing, in Europe, America, Asia, and all around the world. In fact, this symbol is still being used by Christians today, not knowing it represents the sun. This is a 4,500-year-old artifact, a golden plate with an equal-armed cross found in England. The gold to symbolize the sun, and the equal-armed cross for the 4 equal seasons of the year. So this is why in the Bible you have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, symbolizing the yearly cycle of the sun and the 4 equal seasons. Also in the Bible, Jesus is referred to as the light of the world. So yes, Jesus represents the sun. He is a metaphor for the sun. Hence why in all of these pictures and images and paintings of Jesus, there's always a sun behind his head, and some even with the sun cross behind his head. Jesus also has 12 disciples, which represent the 12 zodiac signs and the 12 months of the year. This is the Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci. As you can see, the sun, being Jesus, is in the center, because the sun is in the center of the zodiac signs. There are 4 groups which symbolize the 4 equal seasons. Each group contains 3 people symbolizing the 3 months and the 3 zodiac signs in that season. There is only one female in the painting, which is Virgin Mary, who symbolizes Virgo, the astrological sign. So yes, Jesus symbolizes the sun with his 12 zodiac signs and 4 gospels for the 4 seasons of the year. However, there is another phenomenon. The 25th of December is known as the birth of Jesus Christ, which is known as Christmas today. Jesus symbolizing the sun and is born on December 25th. This is the day the sun moves 1 degree northward, bringing back the warmth, the growth of crops, the life and light back to the northern hemisphere. Everything is springing back to life, as we call it, spring. So it is said that the sun is born again on the 25th of December, and Jesus is known as the risen Saviour, because the sun is our risen Saviour, because it gives life to the whole of this realm, the warmth, the crops. And without the sun rising in the morning, we'd all die in about 2 weeks. And we all know how Jesus died on a cross. The sun also dies on a cross in the southern hemisphere. It dies on the Southern Crux constellation. And on December the 22nd, 23rd and 24th, the sun remains in the same position. So the sun dies for 3 days and it is born again on December 25th, when it moves 1 degree northward. And this is when the sun is born again, or resurrected, just like Jesus. Constellation Virgo is prominent in the spring sky in the northern hemisphere. So therefore, the sun is born a virgin, Virgo. And as you see in this image, you see Virgin Mary holding the sun. Us as humans do not own the sun, so therefore God owns the sun. So yes, the sun is the Son of God, and this is what Jesus is symbolizing. And just how Jesus sacrifices himself for humanity, that's what the sun does. The sun gives out all of its energy so we can live. There are many other Bible verses which represent Jesus as the sun. Now in Matthew 8:23-27, his disciples are in a boat and there is a massive storm. Jesus is asleep, meaning the sun has not arose. And the disciples say, "Save us, Lord, we are perishing." Quote, "Then he rose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm." End quote. Now this is a metaphor for the sun rising and calming the storm, because in the ocean, when the sun is down, that's when there are great storms. The worship of celestial bodies go back thousands of years, and it's called astrotheology, and it can pretty much be traced back to all ancient civilizations. Now going back to the ancient Egyptians, the god Horus, the god of war, and he symbolized the sun in the morning. Ancients used to say that he walked over the sky in 12 steps. Yes, this could symbolize the 12 zodiac signs. It also symbolizes the 12 hours of daylight. So we have 12 hours of Horus, but now they've rearranged the word to hours. Horus and hours. And when the sun rises, Horus rises, we say horizon, which is Horus is rising. That's the etymology of horizon. Another Egyptian god called Amun-Ra was known as the god of all creation. He was the first god of them all. Amun was also a sun god. Therefore, after every Christian's prayer, they say Amen, sending their prayer through the sun to God. So this all goes back to the worshipping of the sun. Sun worship was around way before the Romans. However, in the Roman times, their sun god was called Mithra. Mithraism was the main religion before Christianity came into play. Mithra was the son of God. He died on a cross, and he was dead for 3 days and resurrected, just like Jesus. So the Catholic Church was not made in heaven. It was made by the Roman Empire. They mixed all the sun religions of Judaism, Mithraism, and other Arabic religions and combined it into one, so Caesar, the Roman emperor, could gain his own religion. So yes, Christianity was a political move to gain more control over the masses, because it was a worldwide government at this point in time. So here is a Sumerian helmet with the rising sun symbol. And then the Romans also used this rising sun symbol on their armor. So sun worship has been going on for thousands of years, and it still goes on today. However, with all the programming and the low IQs, today we do not get the full interpretation of the Bible and these stories from the past. And Christians and other religions are all brainwashed to not question their religion and not realize their true origins and where they come from. I do advise you all to do your own research and come to your own conclusions. However, I'm just pointing out the facts and connecting dots for you all to see. That's it for this video, guys and girls. Thank you all for tapping in. God bless.
What is good, people? How are we all doing? Today we're going to be talking about the different planes of existence, the occult side of the world, the things they don't teach you in school. And of course, you can only find that on this channel, so welcome. So you need to understand is that your consciousness moves through these different planes of existence, these different states of consciousness, which make up all of you. Okay? They are all interlocked planes. They are all interpenetrated into each other. They are all one. They melt into the plane above and below. You see, each plane is a product of each plane. As above, so below. Now, the higher you go, the more fluid, the more dreamy, the less dense it becomes. The lower you go, the more denser it becomes, the more solid it becomes. The lowest plane is the physical plane, which you are obviously aware of. You are inside of the physical plane now. But while you are in this inside of this physical plane, you are indeed inside of all these other bodies which you have not awakened yet. You have to awaken these different bodies. You have these bodies. Okay? It's like a ripple effect. And the center is the most dense, the most solid. This is Earth, heart, the heart of the ripple. And the lower you, the further you go out from the center, the more dreamy, the less fluid, the more fluid, the more less dense it gets until you're one with the all. You see? And this is what it's like. This is what this system is. It's like a ripple effect. Now, let's jump straight into the planes. First, you have the physical plane, made out of 4 elements. 5 5 elements. The ether is the mother of the elements. It's the womb of the elements. It's the 5th element. And it gives birth to the 4 other elements. 4 is stability. Tables have 4 legs, and this is why the ether gives birth to 4, because it's the foundation of the physical world. Fire, earth, water, air. They are not pure. Each one of the elements melts into the other one. For example, earth and water both share cold. Water and air both share wet. You see, they compose of each other. They melt, they mold into each other based off the vibrational state of the ether. That's what it is. The 4 elements are the vibrational states of the ether. Okay? So you have the 4 physical elements making this, physical world. It's the lowest world. It's the world of effect. This world, whatever you see, whatever you experience, it's the effect. You can't change anything by manipulating this world. You got to manipulate the higher worlds to affect this world, you see? As above, so below. This is the lowest plane. It has 3-dimensional. It's the 3rd dimension. Space, height, and thickness. That's all it is. Front, backwards, upwards. You see, it's 3-dimensional. We cannot perceive the hidden side, which is the interior of this existence. We cannot perceive the interior from our exterior view. We are looking into this world. Okay, this is the exterior view. We can't see what's inside of that. That's the 4th dimension, which is the next one. It's the most gross and dense plane. 4 states of matter, the most slowest vibrational molecules, exist in this plane. Above this plane, you have the ether. Okay, the word ether and either are the same thing, because either connects 2 scenarios in languages. I either support Manchester United or Liverpool. Either is connecting them 2 scenarios. The ether is doing the exact same, as you can see here on the planes of existence. It connects the astral world, which is very important, to the physical world. It's connecting these 2 worlds. So it's the ether. It's the ether. The ether is pure potential. Energy flows through the ether. It is pure energy, pure potential. Okay? The physical body is an exact copy of the etheric counterpart body. So every physical object has an etheric energy double. It's like a blueprint of that object. Every single object has an energy double, and that's the etheric double. Okay? The etheric body determines the shape of our physical body through its lines of force. All through life, it rebuilds and restores the physical body. Physical problems show up first in the etheric body, because as above, so below. You manipulate the higher planes, it will manipulate this plane. And this is why sorcery works. Contact with astral plane entities. We'll get into that a bit later. So, the reason why we can't see this plane, this energy world which is all around us, which we are inside of right now as we speak, is that the molecules that compose it are further apart than those of the physical plane, making it invisible to the 2 eyes. That we can't perceive it. Our eyes cannot physically suck in that sort of information, and our brain cannot decode it. This is why, they brainwash us with all these programs to keep us asleep, to keep these other bodies we have asleep, so we don't find out about these other bodies, and is to make you believe that everything's just a material. Only the material world exists. They don't want you to know is that everything that you see is a result of something you cannot see. As above, so below. There are realities within this reality. This is what I'm breaking down now, these different planes, on how this reality works. So your etheric double is your energy body. You can see here the physical, etheric, astral. Astral is your spirit. The ether is a part of the physical plane. It's like just above the physical plane, but it's still part. But then the astral plane is completely separate. It's another plane. But they're all interlocked. Don't think they're apart. They're all interlocked. They're all one. They all melt into each other. The chakras that we have are inside of our etheric body. They are our sense of organs which tune us to the 4th dimension. These 7 chakras connect us to the astral world, the 4th dimension. Okay? They are points for the flow of energy from the universe / 7 planets, because the 7 chakras are your 7 planets, and the 7 planets are connected to the astral world. They are feeding these 7 centers in our body. They connect us to the universe, to our etheric counterpart, and then to us, supplying the physical body. Because the energy comes from above. As above, so below. These 7 centers, these 7 etheric chakras, are being supplied with energy from the universe, the 7 planets, the solar system. Then it supplies the physical body. You see? So, the ether is very important. And this is, you know, that the ancients understood the science of the ether, and they could, you know, harness free electricity from it, because it's all around us. The ether is all around us. And this is what they were doing. They were harnessing free energy using the ether. The astral plane, the 4th dimension, very important plane. Very, very important. We've all been there. Every single one of you has been there. Okay? The 4th dimension is unseen of what we see. It's the interior of the exterior that we see. We see the 3rd dimension, but we cannot see beyond what's making this 3rd dimension. This is the 4th dimension. Okay? It's the dream world. This is where you go when you dream. Okay? This is where you go when you dream. It's the place of disembodied spirits or ghosts, entities, whatever you want to call them. When you hear ringing in your ears, that is not tinnitus. That is an entity around you. Okay? That is an entity around you. The 4th dimension is where thought forms exist. Mental images. Thought forms as in what you see in your mind when you think of an image, because the mind is the highest plane of existence. Mind is the highest plane of existence, and it manipulates all of the planes below. So it goes the mental plane, then the astral plane. So the thought is in the mind, the mental plane. That just the thought alone, no image, but then the form depiction, the thought form exists. It manifests in the astral plane as a sort of image, an entity, a living conscious being. So this is why thoughts are things. You see, thought forms exist within the 4th dimension. So when you imagine something, when you are, for example, right now, look into your hand and imagine there's an apple in your hand. If you can see that, you are seeing into this 4th dimension. You can only see into this 4th dimension using the mind's eye, not the 2 eyes, the mind's eye. When you shut off the 2 eyes into darkness, the 3rd eye opens. The mind's eye is open, and you can see, you know, this is astral travel. You got to work on astral travel, and you will see this astral plane, this 4th dimension. And there are 3 different sections to this astral plane: higher, middle, or lower. So yes, there is a kind of a heaven and hell, and a middle, Midgard. Heaven being the higher vibrational entities manifesting higher vibrational thought forms existing there, the lower vibrational thought forms existing in the astral plane. But these thought forms are beings. You can create these beings. They're called elementals. Okay? If you entertain specific thoughts for long enough, this will plant a seed and it will grow. If you keep, so for example, you have a bad feeling or whatever, what's a good example? Unforgiving someone. You keep that energy inside of you for long enough, it will manifest in the 4th dimension. You entertain that thought long enough, it will manifest. And it will create an etheric body, and it will be an entity which will harm you. It will feed off you, this low vibrational energy. Your mind is so powerful. It creates thought forms, and these thought forms can take consciousness, can take bodies, etheric bodies. Now, that's why it's very important that you master your mind, master your thought patterns. So this 4th dimension is the astral world. So when you have a nightmare, this is the lower astral plane. You're in the lower astral plane. Whilst this physical body rests at night, your consciousness, while you awaken this other body, your consciousness goes inside of this other body, whilst the physical body lays asleep. You see? So it's all inside of you. This is what you need to understand. You just haven't awakened these bodies yet. You can awaken them. You just got to awaken them. Okay? The next is the mental plane. This is the mind, the source, pure cause, pure motion, the most less dense, the most fluid. No form. There's no form to the mind. Astral plane is the first plane where a form takes existence, pretty much. The mental world has no form. It's pure mind, pure intelligence. Thoughts alone exist here without any images or manifestation. The most fluid, the most dreamy, the most causal plane. All of the rest take the effects of this plane. That's why it's mind over matter. Your thoughts they create vibrations. Each vibration is vibrating on a specific frequency, which creates mental images, creates effects down here on this physical plane. This is why it's so important to master your mind. Master what you think. Master your mind. It's the hardest thing to master. You could conquer the world, but it's probably harder to conquer your own mind than to conquer the whole world. I can promise you that, because the mind can play tricks on you. You got to listen to that inner guide within you that will constantly manifest the good things. So anyways, people, hope you learned a lot from this. Please work on trying to activate these other bodies. I will maybe do another video on trying to activate these bodies if you wish. Please comment down below if you would like to see that. And have an amazing day. Please like, subscribe, comment down below any video ideas you want me to do, any information you want me to spit. Thank you all. Have an amazing day.
Greetings everyone, it's Revival of Wisdom. I facilitate human enlightenment through occult and esoteric teachings. I hope this video expands your mind into a new field of thought. In this video, we're going to be discovering the true esoteric meaning of the 7 planetary energies. So let's jump straight into this. In order to fully understand this, you must understand the esoteric teaching of as above, so below, and as within, so without. Our inner world is mirrored into our external material reality. We have a physical voice, which you are hearing right now, and I also have an inner voice, which no one else can hear. The inner world is invisible, and the external world is visible. In other words, the inner world is the spiritual world, and the outer world is the material world. The inner world of ourselves reflects and projects our outer world, which means everything in our external reality is somewhat reflection of our internal self. You are made in the image and likeness of God. You yourself are the universe experiencing itself in a 3-dimensional physical form. The Newtonian science has programmed you to believe that you are a physical being inside of a physical universe. They did this to limit your mind to only believing there is a physical universe and that you are separate from the universe or God. But you yourself are the divine essence of the universe, experiencing itself in a physical plane, which means everything you see is inside of you, including the stars, the planets, and the elements. As above, so below. As within, so without. An example of this is the 4 physical elements: fire, earth, water, and air. In the external world, these are physical elements. In our internal world, they represent the 4 bodies of consciousness. We have 4 different bodies. We have a material body, we have a spiritual body, an emotional body, and a mental body. The mind is not made out of the same substance as the body. The emotions is not made out of the same substance of the mind and the body. These bodies exist in 4 different dimensions, 4 layers of consciousness. With that being said, the 4 physical elements are inside of us. The earth is our material physical body. Fire represents our spiritual astral light body. Water represents our transformative and emotional body. Air represents the mental body, the communicative and thinking body. This is the teaching as above, so below. If that resonates with you and you can comprehend it, please leave a like and a subscribe to this channel to see more content. And feel free to leave a comment on any video suggestions. Okay, so now we've gone over the 4 physical elements and how they correspond with your inner world of consciousness. This is going to make it easier for you to understand what the planets actually are. The planets are a bit more in-depth and more detailed aspects of our consciousness. The 4 physical elements are generic, but the 7 planets go deeper. They are deeper aspects of ourselves. On a macrocosmic scale, the 7 planets rule the material realm. Every object, every animal, every plant, every stone, everything we see in this plane is governed and created under one of the 7 planets. I don't really like calling them planets. They are energies. They are spiritual forces that drive things into existence. An example of this is if we look at a tree. The roots of the tree are governed by Saturn. The stem of the tree is governed by the sun. The leaves of the tree are governed by the moon. Any offspring or fruit of the tree is governed by Jupiter. Any defense mechanisms of the tree is governed by Mars. The communication and networking of the tree is governed by Mercury. The smell and the look of the tree is governed by Venus. Everything we see in this material plane is governed by one of these specific energies. Everything material has a spiritual force that brings it into physical existence. This is the reason why we have 7 days of creation in the Bible. The 7 days of the week, all governed by the planetary energies. Monday is moon day for the moon. Mars governs Tuesday. Mercury is Wednesday. Jupiter is Thursday. Venus is Friday. Saturn is Saturday. And Sunday is for the sun. This is the reason why there are so many 7s in this physical plane. 7 days of the week, the 7 colors, the 7 chakras, the 7 diatonic musical notes, the 7 lamps on the Jewish candlestick, the G inside of the Masonic square and compass. G is the 7th letter. Now let's go a little bit deeper into every planetary energy. Saturn in the external material plane governs the foundational and enduring aspects of existence, such as roots of plants, the bones of our body, and even the insects that dwell beneath the ground. Saturn represents the dull, hard, and unyielding forces of life, symbolizing structure, limitation, and conditioning. Under Saturn's influence, things become rigid, bound by restrictions and boundaries. This is the reason why Saturn is known as Father Time, because Saturn rules anything that is a restriction and a limitation, which is time. The whole of this material plane is governed by time. You will be born and you will die. This explains why there is so much Saturn symbology in this material plane. Saturn is one of the most important planetary energies. You are a spiritual being in a physical body. Your light, your consciousness is bound to the physical body until you learn how to escape the physical body. The body is a limitation for our infinite minds and spiritual bodies. Our infinite mind is stuck in this material body, governed by Saturn's limitation of time, matter, and space. Now let's dive into what Saturn means to our consciousness within our internal world. We've gone over what Saturn means in the external world. What does it mean to our consciousness? Internally, Saturn embodies the conditioning within our consciousness. When the Saturnian aspect of our consciousness dominates, we become overly rigid, fixated, and restricted in our thinking and actions. For example, Saturn's influence is strongly felt in today's world, where many people's minds are confined to societal norms and conditioned responses. Saturn is the aspect of our consciousness, our minds, such as limiting belief systems and limiting thoughts and emotions. This is the negative thought that you can't get rid of, that's holding you back. This is a Saturn aspect of our consciousness. However, this is not a negative thing. The Saturnian aspect of our consciousness is a great teacher, guiding us through difficult life lessons that ultimately lead us to growth and expansion. Saturn's energy allows us to experience and overcome fears and limitations so our minds can expand into new fields of thought, into new life. Although Saturn's energy is harsh and often challenging, it helps us develop resilience, discipline, and wisdom. However, in the modern day, this Saturnian energy has overpowered the minds of the masses, fostering excessive rigidity and limitation. This is why we see so much Saturn symbolism. It's literally everywhere because our minds are being dominated by the Saturnian limiting aspect of our consciousness. Now, let's move on to the moon. The moon, or lunar energy in the external material macrocosm plane, governs the elements of water, influencing the natural cycles such as the ocean tides, which rise and fall in harmony with the moon's phases. Beyond water, the moon also guides instinctual behaviors such as animal migrations. Birds, insects, and other creatures rely on the moon's subtle energies to navigate their journeys. For example, dung beetles use polarization patterns in the moonlight to orient themselves and travel safely home. The moon creates the months. M-O-N is moon. There are 28-day cycles, and this 28-day cycle of the moon is reflected in the woman's body, known as the menstrual cycle. The moon is a feminine energy, governing the feminine elements such as water and the feminine cycles of the body. The moon is the womb. This is why eggs have the same color as the moon, because eggs are ruled by the moon's energy. Now that's the external world. The internal world, the moon symbolizes the emotion aspect of our consciousness. It represents the subconscious mind, the seat of intuition and psychic abilities. Just like in the external world, things are born out of the moon, such as eggs and the womb. The subconscious mind acts as a womb for our conscious mind. Our deep subconscious emotions and programs are born into light into the conscious mind and controls the conscious mind. The moon represents our hidden psyche, our shadow self. Now let's go on to the sun. The sun represents the life force. In the material external world, the sun is ruling over pretty much all life. The sun gives life to all things. Without the sun, animals could not exist, the human body could not work, and plants would not grow. The sun is the life force. It's the soul of the world. Now, in our internal world of consciousness, the sun represents our passion, our drive, our conscious mind. The aspect of our internal world that wants to drive things and give life to physical manifestation. Now we go on to Mars energy. Mars is well known for being the god of war. Mars energy manifests into the material plane through anything that seeks to protect or defend itself. For example, the holly tree. The holly tree leaves are very sharp and they defend itself. Anything that is protective in the material world has Mars energy and is governed by this specific aspect of consciousness. For example, any predators or animals such as hedgehogs with spines on their backs for protection. Mars represents all things that is driven by conflict, aggression, and defense. Now, internally, inside of our inner world, Mars symbolizes the aspect of our consciousness that is focused on self-preservation and protection. Mars governs our ego, the instinctual urges of anger or maintaining reputation. Mars is not evil. It's necessary. Sometimes it's necessary for us to protect ourselves. Mars is the aspect of our consciousness that is anger, rage, the desire to fight or conquer. When this energy is activated within our consciousness, we become defensive, assertive, and even combative, ready to dominate others and destroy obstacles in our way. Now let's move on to Venus energy. Venus in the external material world manifests its energy through the aesthetics of creation. This planet governs the beauty and harmony found in nature, including the nurturing environment of a mother's womb where life begins. Venus embodies the essential love, not only in romantic relationships, but also in the bonds between family members and all living beings. Venus represents relationships. We have relationships between plants, animals. They all depend on each other to give life. Plants provide food and medicine, while living creatures contribute to their own growth and pollination. Internally, Venus represents the aspect of our consciousness that yearns for relationships and connections with others. This is an aspect of our consciousness that encourages to care for our physical appearance and embracing beauty. Aesthetics play a role in our interactions and self-expression. This is why there is a beauty brand called Venus. Now let's move to Jupiter energy. Jupiter in the material plane manifests its energy as forces of fortune, abundance, and wealth. This energy manifests itself as plants, as fruits that we can consume and eat in abundance. Anything that is nourishing and cultivated by the earth for humanity and animals. Jupiter embodies the giving energy that provides for and sustains life, fostering growth and ensuring that resources are available to all. Its influence is seen in the natural cycles of abundance, where fruits must grow and ripen before they are enjoyed, symbolizing the importance of effort and patience. Internally, in our spiritual world, Jupiter represents the aspect of our consciousness that yearns for abundance and seeks growth in various aspects of our lives, including wealth, knowledge, and personal development of the mind, spirit, and the soul. This is the aspect of our consciousness that wants to gain wealth, that wants to gain expansion and abundance in our lives. However, when Jupiter's energy dominates our consciousness excessively, it can lead to feelings of stinginess and greed. It represents material possession. The last planet is Mercury. Mercury in the external world governs the vital elements such as seeds, air, communication, education, and electricity. Known as the messenger of the gods, Mercury rules over intellect, communication, and the transmission of knowledge. Mercury's state of consciousness manifests itself in the material plane as the network between trees and plants, how they all communicate together. It represents the intelligence behind all physical things. It's the intelligence behind the seed that allows it to grow into a plant. Mercury's creative energy is manifested in the nervous system of the human body and all living animals. The intricate messenger that transmits signals from the body to the brain and then to the mind. This intelligence within us allows us to facilitate thought and movement. Internally, in our spiritual aspects of consciousness, Mercury is the state of consciousness that seeks knowledge, understanding, and intellectual growth and expansion. This part of us is curious, eager to learn, and driven to communicate ideas and information. It represents our mental body. The Roman god Mercury is often depicting flying because this symbolizes the air. Air represents our mental body. When the Mercury aspect of our consciousness dominates, we become highly intellectual, constantly seeking information, analyzing situation, and communicating our ideas. While this can enhance our understanding and ability to interact with the world, an excess of Mercury's influence can lead to overthinking, excessive analysis, and focus on intellect over emotions or intuition. Okay, so they are the 7 planetary energies in the external world and your internal world of consciousness. These energies are manifested in the Roman mythology as human beings. They are depicted as human beings, but this is nothing but symbolism. These gods never existed physically. They represent aspects of our consciousness and spiritual forces that govern the material plane. Every material object, every intelligence, every piece of life in this universe is governed and brought into existence by one of these spiritual forces. Now, I hope this video has expanded your mind into a new realm of thought. Make sure to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel for more occult and esoteric information. You can read more about this topic and many more occult and esoteric teachings inside of my books, the Book of Wisdom Volume 1 and the Book of Wisdom Volume 2. I honestly advise that not everyone reads these books. These are books which will completely transform your view on reality. You will feel a lot better reading these books because you will find a connection with yourself and the universe. Understanding truth and knowing thyself gives you a sense of well-being. Like I said, this is not just a book. This is a beginning of your journey of expansion and growth. Reading them can be life-changing. Inside my university, I host live calls where you can ask me questions, and you can watch all the pre-recorded live calls. You also gain the ability to manifest your own reality through the Manifestation Mastery course. There is also a library with all of the PDFs that I've read in the past of occultism, symbolism, and esotericism that you can gain access to. There is a whole lecture section where you can watch all of my occult lectures. This is a place of transformation. The price of the university will be going up very soon. If you join now, you will gain a free sexual alchemy course which will teach you how to transmute sexual energy into creativity. I'll leave all the links in the description for the university and also my website where you can get my books. I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care.
As above, so below. This is one of the most crucial teachings within esotericism, occultism, or what we like to call it today, spirituality. I don't like calling it spirituality because it's not spirituality. I teach human consciousness. I teach the science of you and your consciousness alone and your being. And in order to fully understand you and this world around you, you must understand this number one principle of as above, so below. There is many misconceptions of this, and there is many simple teachings of this, but I'm going to break it down today from the most simplest to the most complex, and you will see the connections between all things. This is the most important lesson you could ever learn, and I'm going to teach it you today. So what you must understand is with the term as above, so below, it applies with everything you see in this world and about yourself. We have something called the macro, which means the bigger scale. On the bigger scale, we have the whole earth. If we look down from the sky on top of rivers, this is what we see. We see this tree pattern. Then on a smaller scale, we see trees have the same pattern. Then we look even closer. We're going smaller and smaller into the leaves of the tree. We see the same pattern. Then we go even more micro into the human brain and look at the human brain cells, and we see the same pattern. This is proof this is a fractal universe, and everything is in the micro is reflected in the macro. As above, so below. As within, so without. On the macro is a reflection of the micro. So now that you understand this, we can go a bit further. A yearly cycle of spring, summer, fall, winter is a macro. A micro is a daily cycle. So a day is a mini year. The summer is the midday. Autumn is the evening. Night is the winter, and spring is the morning. This is a macro, a reflection. We have a miniature cycle of the zodiac every single day. And this cycle is also reflecting the cycle of life and death. We live, we are born, which is the spring. We live, which is the summer. We then age, which is the autumn. And then we die, which is the winter, and then we are reborn again. This is the cycle of life and death, and you do this every single day. You see, death is a macrocosm of sleep. This is why we say sleep is the cousin of death, because you die every single night. You do this process of life and death every single day. As above, so below. What's in the micro is in the macro. So when you go to sleep, you are essentially dying, and then in the morning when you wake up, you are then born again. This is a fractal cycle that we live in. Everything in this whole world is fractal. Everything applies to as above, so below. We have the sun, we have the moon, we have the day, we have the night. We have the life, we have the death. We have the conscious, we have sleep. As above, so below. We have the conscious mind, because now we're diving into as within, so without. As above, so below
more refers to the external world. As within, so without is referring to your inner world and the outer world. What you must understand is about yourself. You exist in two realms. You're an individual. The dual nature of you. You exist in two realms at once. You have an inner world of your thought, emotion. This is the inner world that no one else can see but yourself. And you have an outer world with a physical body which everyone can see. So you exist in two worlds. You have the inner voice, you have the outer physical voice, which I'm speaking to you with now. But I also have an inner voice, which no one can hear, only but me. So you exist in the light and you exist in the darkness. The sun represents your external self, your physical, conscious mind. The moon represents your shadow self, the inner self, the psyche self, the spirit self. There is an as above, so below. The sun is within you. The moon is within you. Everything is within you. Now that you understand as above, so below, what is your body? Your body is a miniature earth. Let me repeat, your body is an earth. Your body is the earth. Okay? Because like I say many times in all of my videos, you are not in the world. The world is you. You are the universe. Your brain is a computer creating this reality. What you see with your eyes is produced in the back of the brain called the visual cortex. You don't look into the world, the brain produces the world. The body produces the world. When you touch something, you're not actually touching something. This is the electrical nervous system. When you touch something, what you feel is actually electrical signals on your nervous system reporting back to your brain. Therefore, when this body dies, you leave the earth because this body is the earth. Okay? As above, so below. You have the mental plane, the astral plane, the etheric plane, and the physical plane. This is essential for understanding reality and the teaching of as above, so below. Everything in this material plane began in the thinking mind. For example, the microphone I'm speaking into, the phone you're watching this video off, or the laptop or iPad. Where did this begin? It didn't begin in the factory. The first ever place this item begun was in the mind of an individual. The invisible realms of mind is where all physical things and physical items begun. Essentially, this physical plane is the effect of the thinking mind. This world is the world of effect. It's the world of outcomes. When you see something, it is already manifest. It is already being manifested. It is an effect. And in the effect of the cause, which is the thinking mind. Therefore, the mind creates thoughts, which is the mental plane. Then after thoughts creates imagination, which is the astral plane. These two are spiritual. They are non-physical. So spirit kind of means non-physical. Then you have the physical planes, the etheric and the physical plane. As above, so below. What happens in the mind is manifest on the physical plane. Like I said, the phone that you are holding, it was a thought, and then it brought down into a physical reality. As above, so below. You change the mind, you change your reality. Your environment. The word environment has ment in it because your environment is mental. So now that you understand this, so what is the world around you? The world around you was created by the mind of God. It was manifested through God's thought. So you are living in the mind of God. You are a thought in the mind of God. God thought you into existence. But like I said, we are all fractals. Everything is fractal. If God exists, this means that you are God, as above, so below. God created you through the thinking mind, and he gave you a thinking mind. So God created the macrocosm. God created the macro, the whole world. He designed the whole world, the sun, the stars, the moving. He designed this. But then he gave you the thinking mind to design your own life and create your own life in his world. You are a microcosm of God's macrocosm. Just like God thought you into existence and the whole world into existence, you are a microcosm thinking your world, your reality into existence. You see this now? Everything is a reflection, everything is a mirror, everything is fractal. So in order for you to change your reality, you must change these higher planes. Your thought and imagination are the two key aspects of creating physical reality. Every object you see around you was begun in these higher planes of the non-physical, and they were brought out of spirit into physical matter through the thinking mind and physical action. So now we're going to get a bit deeper. The brain is not the mind. Now that you understand, we have spirit and matter. As above, so below. You have a non-physical side of reality and a physical side of reality. The mind is the spiritual brain. The brain is a physical manifestation, a physical effect of the mind. The mind uses the brain to operate in the physical world, and it's the same with the heart. The soul manifests itself physically through the heart. The heart is a physical manifestation of the soul, of the emotion, thought and emotion, the mind and the soul, the brain and the heart, heaven and earth. So you have the inner world and the outer world, the spiritual, non-physical, and the physical. So essentially, we are all on this process of awakening, an expansion of our minds into new fields of thought, into new fields of awakening ourselves. Because essentially, we are born into this world. But you are born many, many times. You can be born physically and you can be born spiritually. Like I said, everything is fractal. So just like when the baby finds out that there is a world outside of its mother, what does the baby do? The baby seeks a way out of its mother, and then the baby is now born into a new world, a world outside of its mother's womb. It's the same with you and your spiritual process. As your mind becomes aware that there are other realities beyond your physical body, it then seeks a way out. And this is why you are probably watching my YouTube, because you are now on the path. Something within you has guided you to this path of knowledge, truth, enlightenment, and expanding your consciousness. And it is your soul who brought you here. Your soul speaks through emotion, a guidance. Emotion is the language of the soul. When you feel very bad, this is your soul telling you you're not in the right place. You're doing the wrong things. Because the soul is always unfolding its purpose, which is expansion and learning. That is it. The mastery of the self and the learning of the mind is the only thing that counts in the end after this life. So you are on a journey of expansion, of learning, creating, and spiritual rebirth. As above, so below. What does this body tell you? When I see someone overweight, I don't see the overweight. I don't see the body. I see the mind. I see an undisciplined mind. I see a mind that lacks self-control. I see a mind that seeks external validation. That's what I see when I see an overweight person. I don't see his body. I see the result of his mind. Because what does the Bible tell you? You shall know them by their fruits. It's the same saying as above, so below. You shall know them by their fruit. The fruit is their manifestation. Your body is a direct correlation and manifestation of your mind. Your inner world projects your outer world. As within, so without. As above, so below. Now, what do you see when you see this man's body? I see discipline. I see strength. Mental strength, not physical strength. I see mental resilience of pain. Because all of this man's mental energy has been manifested physically within his muscle. This body is a direct manifestation of this man's mind's pain and suffering, and it shows discipline. This is why people instantly respect you if you are in shape. You walk into a room and you are in shape, people will instantly give you respect because they know that you are mentally disciplined. The body is a reflection of your inner world, and it's the same with your friends, your family, your connections with people. If you think about yourself very negatively all the time, and you don't have a good connection with yourself, you don't have a connection with your true self, this will manifest into every single relationship you have in your life. If you don't have a good relationship with your inner self, you don't have a good relationship with the people and the friends around you. Because as within, so without. If you think negative about yourself, you will only pick up the negative in other people. If I think very highly of myself and I think very happy and good things about myself, I will then see the good things in other people. Because it's as above, so below. As the inner world is, so is the outer world. It's the same with your life circumstances. Your life is a direct correlation of every thought you thought in the past. If you possess millions of pounds, millions of dollars, this is because you have thought this into physical reality. You live the life you are deserved. You live the life that you manifest through your thoughts. If you live a very poor life, this is a reflection of your mind. This is a reflection of what you have thought into physical existence. Because like I said, everything begins in the mind. As above, so below. And this is even present within the body. So where is the head? The head is at the very top of the body. And where does all manifestation begin? In the mind. That's where the mind is, in the head. And then the thoughts we think travel down the body into the heart, which is the emotion. Every thought we think is in the emotion. Every thought we think creates an emotion. This emotion then drives the action. Where does the action come from? The feet, because the feet move our body. We move with our feet to take action. Our hands. You see, so the body is even a micro reflection. I can't even say it. Reflection of the order of manifestation. This blew my mind when I figured this out. You see, the head, the thoughts begin here. This is the beginning of all manifestation. Then it comes down to the heart. This is the emotion. Then you take the action. The thought and emotion then sparks the action, which is taken with the hands and the feet. And where's the lowest point on the body? The feet, and that's touching the physical earth. So the head is where the thought is, the non-physical, and the lowest point on the body, which is touching the physical earth. So the head represents spirit, the feet represent matter, spirit and matter. Your room, if I walk into your room and I see a messy room, I don't see the room, I see a messy mind. The room is a reflection of the mind. If you have a messy room, this is your mind. It's an externalization of your unsorted mind, undisciplined mind. So like I said, we are all God, and we must find the God self within us. And I teach all of this inside the Book of Wisdom, Volume 2. This is not just a book, this is a revolution. This is the beginning of a new age with this book. If you have read it, I congratulate you. You should feel very proud of yourself if you have an open mind. You should feel proud of yourself for watching these videos, because not many people have an open mind. Remember this, people. You are special if you're watching these videos. You have the mind. You have the ability to see through the illusion. And I take my hat off to you. You want to take this to the next step? Read the book. Or if you want to take it to the serious levels, join the university. The university, you gain access to every piece of my material that I've ever done, all of my books, all of my lectures that are hidden from YouTube, that are hidden from everywhere else, the lectures that give you real power. And if you feel alone on this journey, we have a conscious community where you can connect with like-minded individuals, because I've been there. I've been there when you feel lonely, because you feel like no one else is thinking the way you are feeling. You can't talk to people about these things because people just think you're crazy. That's why I put together this, so we can connect, so we can unite, so you can connect with people, so you don't feel crazy about thinking about this stuff, learning about this stuff. And if you truly want to level up your life, people, and take your studies serious, this is for you. We do live calls, we do lectures. There's a whole library filled with books you can read. It's the perfect place for the truth seeker. I thank you all for joining. Please leave a like, a comment, a subscribe. Let me know any future videos you want me to make in the comments. Thank you all. Have an amazing day.
Welcome to Revival of Wisdom.
Today, we're going to be talking about portals, portal symbolism, what portals are, okay, and how they show them to us, because they have to tell you the truth, guys. This is the thing with the universal law. They have to tell you the truth. And they tell you through symbols, they tell you through movies, and different things like that. But let's jump straight into this. So first I want to talk about the Freemasonry symbols. Okay, so first we got, obviously this is some Freemasonry art, but notice how you've got the ladder with a key. Okay, so this is ladder symbolism with a key. So maybe this is talking about ascending, okay, because look, because this is ascending into the heavens, because it's a ladder with humans going up it with a key. In order to ascend, you must have a key. Okay, so what else do we have with a key? Well, the Netflix show Lock and Key, which is all about portals and keys. Because what the keys do, they open doors, gateways. Okay, so what's interesting about this is that they've got this key here, which represents the Kundalini energy rising up the spine. Okay, but we'll come back to this. But it's that same portal key symbolism. We've also got the Vatican. The Vatican is in the shape of a key. Okay, so you can see the start of it here and the end. So this is key symbolisms. Keys open doors. And notice how it's got the 8-pointed star. Okay, what is the 8-pointed star? Okay, we'll come back to this. This all ties in, guys. I'll break it all down for you. But then you've also got the god Janus. Janus, okay, is known as the god of the doorways. He's an ancient god of Rome, and they worshipped him. However, he's not a god, he's more like a high-level ranked demon. Because he is the god of the doorways. And notice how he's got two faces. Because doorways always have two sides. You're going into somewhere there's always two sides of a door, and he's always depicted with two sides of a face and a key, because he holds the key to the doorways, to the portals to other worlds and realms. Okay, as you can see, he's always got two faces and a key. Okay, so now we have the Sumerians, the Anunnaki, and they are always depicted with the two faces. Why do they have the two faces? Because they're symbolizing doorways, and the Anunnaki come to Earth through doorways and portals. So these are what these gods are symbolizing in their artwork. But they always have the 8-pointed star. Okay, what is the 8-pointed star? You see how they always have. Look, let me try and find another one. It's the 8-pointed star. This 8-pointed star is Polaris. Okay? Polaris, just like the Vatican has the 8-pointed star with a key. Polaris is the center star. Polaris is a fixed star, it doesn't move. Okay? So the Anunnaki's symbol is also the 8-pointed star. So this is symbolizing the portals and doorways that they come through in order to get to the Earth. But Polaris is that center star which does not move. It's always symbolized with the 8-pointed star, just like a compass. Why is a compass the 8-pointed star? Because at the center of our realm is where the most electromagnetic energy is stored. As you can see, we have an aura field, an electromagnetic aura field. So does the Earth. And in the center, so like our heart, for example, is where the most energy is stored. And like the center of the Earth, this is why all compasses point to the center, because this is where the most electromagnetic energy is stored. It's at the center of our realm. Okay. So like I was saying with the lock and key series, see this here? The Kundalini energy rising up the spine, just like your Kundalini energy rising up the spine. Let me try. I can't zoom in, but you know what I'm trying to say here. Let's go back to Polaris, because at the center is where pole. Can you see the pole of electromagnetic energy? Polaris, the North Pole. It's symbolized. The truth is in the words. It's like a pole of electromagnetic energy. And this is where the Aurora Aurebelis comes from. Notice how it's got the word aura in it, because it's the Earth's aura, electromagnetic field. Just like you have an aura, also known as the Northern Lights, because it's coming out of this center hole in the center of our realm, where the black sun is. And this is where the electromagnetic energy is coming up from. And this is what the Aurora Aurebelis is, or the Northern Lights. It's just electromagnetic energy. And it's symbolized through our symbols, the original O. Okay, because it's like a pole through the middle. Polaris. So this Polaris is the sky vault. It's the portal into this realm. Because this is what the Anunnaki are always talking about. Always symbolize it with the 8-pointed star. And just like a compass is the 8-pointed star, pointed to the center, to Polaris. Okay? See here on the Sumerian tablets with the 8-pointed star again. And how we know it's talking about portals with this 8-pointed star is because CERN 666 are opening up portals to the underworld, letting in demonic entities into this realm. How do we know it's a portal? Because their Hydra Collider has 8 points, just like the 8-pointed star. So they are creating synthetic portals to the underworld to let these demonic entities into our realm. But what is the key? Because if we're talking about ascending through Polaris, notice how here on the masonry art, this luminary here, so this is the sun, that's the moon, this is Polaris, because it's a luminary with what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 beams coming off the luminary, just like the 8-pointed star. So you see the ladder with the key going up to Polaris. It's symbolizing ascending out of Earth. So what is this key that they're keeping from us? Because it's a human holding a key going up the ladder to Polaris. Well, chakras. We have 7 chakras. Okay, so this is what they are telling us in the lock and key symbolism. The Kundalini energy rising up the spine. Okay, just like they have 33 vertebrae on the back of your spine. Okay, this represents the Kundalini energy going up your 33 vertebrae, just like in masonry has 33rd degrees. Okay, so what is the key? Your chakras. Your chakras have to be unlocked. Okay, you have to unlock your chakras, and you can't unlock this one without going through this one. You have to go through them all. It's like a ladder, just like Jacob's ladder. You can't go from the bottom to the top. You have to unlock each one. Okay, just like you have 7 chakras, you have 7 layers of your aura. Okay, you have to unlock your chakras to the highest point in order to reach Christ consciousness. And this is the key that they're talking about. They're symbolizing the organic portal within each and every one of us to ascend out of this realm. Okay, so this is the key that they're talking about, and they're holding back this knowledge to keep us trapped in this 3D realm. Okay, so like I was saying with the 33 vertebrae and the Kundalini energy coming up the spine, 33 vertebrae, you can see this sort of symbolism going up to the light, because it's the light. You see here, your crown chakra turns on and becomes enlightened, just like the Illuminati symbol. Can you see it? But also Jesus also died at 33. So this is symbolizing, okay, they're symbolizing the death of the ego, the body. So once you open up your chakras and reach Christ consciousness, which is your 33rd vertebrae, once your Kundalini energy goes up your 33rd vertebrae, your body technically, not physically, but spiritually dies, because you then become formless. You reach Christ consciousness. So then you can travel other worlds. Okay? This is what they're talking about with Vatican, 8-pointed star, and the key. Janus with the key. The Sumerians with the 8-pointed star. Anunnaki, the 8-pointed star. Polaris, 8-pointed star. So Polaris is the way out of this realm, which is at the center
pole, North Pole. Okay, so the key is that they're hiding from us is the knowledge to unlock our chakras. Okay, and without this knowledge that they keep from us is trapping our souls in this reality to keep reincarnating. Okay, well, thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to leave you all there. Make sure to leave a like and a comment in the comment section. Let me know some topics to talk about so I can break it down for you. God bless you all.
How are we doing, people? It's Revival of Wisdom. We're back today talking about sun worship. Okay? And please enjoy, sit back and enjoy the